Yep, it is recording. All right, excellent.
Okay, cool.
Hello, YouTube.
Me.
Had to fix a slight issue. You didn't miss anything. We literally were just doing our intros and talkings and whatnot.
Yes, I was talking about the ham that I have in the oven right now. That's it.
Yep, just a
That's all
massive
that you
ham.
missed. Yeah, it's a 10-pound ham. Like my housemate came back with it one day, like I don't know, like a week ago, saying it's like, oh yeah, this is for Easter dinner or whatever, like next week. And I looked at this fucking thing. It's it's a 10-pound ham. For I don't know if you know how big that is, but that's an enormous ham.
That is an enormous slab of meat.
Yeah, like it's a meat monolith, is what that is. It's a
Yeah,
huge hunk of meat.
yeah. I still remember that post about
Yeah,
the organic
the meat
ham.
obelisk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh, geez. All right, so two things we have been up to. Uh,
I've actually been playing Lords of the Fallen 2023 with Mal's housemate.
yes, Steamo. Steamo is a good one.
It's been the changes have been pretty nice to an extent.
Yeah, a dedicated jump button definitely helps.
There is that, but because it has a dedicated jump button, I'm always trying to do the Elden Ring thing and jump to a heavy attack or a plunging attack.
Oh no,
It just doesn't work because like that's not how the
that's not
game.
how
That's
that
not how Lords of the
works.
Fallen works. Yeah, to do a plunging attack, you got to fall a lot further than that in Lords of the Fallen. So
Yeah, so there's that. I have been playing Neo 2 with Kat.
yeah, I hope you enjoyed that because like I did accidentally spoil you on a couple things. I'm just not thinking about it.
It happens. But
Like
no,
the story of like Neo 2 is not that important to the game, but also,
yeah. Besides, I knew about
I
Mom.
try not to do that.
I know she eventually appears in the tree.
In the tree?
In that,
Oh, you're talking about the in between, the
yeah, the
interim.
in-between area.
Yeah, so like for people who don't know what the hell that is, Japanese thanatology, I guess it would be like the mythology of death was
Mhm.
thanatology. Um, it has to do with like the far shore and the near shore, and like how crossing the river or the ocean or this body of water is crossing from life into death and back again. You know, if you go from the far shore to the near shore, you're coming back from the dead.
Yeah.
Uh, this is all it's tied up in Kagare and all that other shit that I always talk about, like these concepts of death and rot and stagnation in Japanese
Yeah,
culture and
and the in-between is
mythology.
this uh, place with two docks on it, and in the middle,
Yep.
there is just this giant-ass hollow tree.
Yeah, it's a I think it's a wisteria tree, but I don't actually know. I because you can't really see it from like far away in
Yeah.
game. You can't like look at the whole thing. Because it's too damn big for that. It's straight up, it's got like fucking 6 or 7 stories inside of it.
Yeah, it is big. It
But
is a
it's this big island with a with an enormous tree on it, and like there's docks on both sides. And you as a yokai spirit kind of creature can go there and come back to life because like you belong there and on the other side and on this side. You belong everywhere because
yeah.
you're yokai.
Uh, the other thing I have been engaging in is Mercy Lago, which is a manga that comes with a heavy amount of trigger warnings, but it is
It's
also about
it's up there
yeah, like explicit sexual content, graphic
for
gore. uh,
for just like the most fucked up lesbian you've ever heard of.
yeah. This is the most fucked up lesbian you ever heard of, but she kind of has the swagger of your uh, Alucard from Hellsing.
Yeah, she definitely like reminds me a lot of Alucard.
Yeah. But basically, the idea is
She's Alucard for the lesbians.
yes, she is Alucard for the lesbians. Uh, basic idea: a mass
Okay,
murderer
you know.
on her execution day basically gets contracted. Hey, you don't have to be executed if you work for the government as a hitman. And that's what she fucking does. She actually doesn't take a particular delight in killing. Like, she'll get into it if you get her into a fight, but she actually doesn't seek out fights, really.
Yeah, she's not the murder hobo type. It's more
Yeah.
like I think the trope is called Blood Knight, where they just like really like fighting.
Yeah, really like fighting, but don't actually seek it out necessarily, though it's probably easy for her to, like, fall into that crowd of people who will then turn a knife on her. And she goes, oh, okay, we're doing this then. But
Yo, this will be fun, kind of thing.
yeah, exactly. But she's a delight. She is the thirstiest lesbian you know. Like, there is an entire just goof chapter of her going on a dating website, finding a girl, seducing a girl, and taking her to a love hotel. And there's no complicating factors.
That's just how she is.
That's just how she is. She wouldn't be a crazed killer because that doesn't get you ladies. And you know what? Good for her. But it's actually very interesting, a kind of pressure between. Well, it's kind of that thing of having a foot in both worlds kind of thing, where she wants to interact with others, she's actually interested in others, but she's also capable of terrible, terrible destruction.
Yeah.
So they use a bat as a symbol of that, because that's what Murcielago means. And also, the name Kuriko, which is her name, is close to the word for bat in Japanese.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah. It has some Lovecraftian vibes, too. I don't know how far it goes, because I'm only in, like, chapter, what is it now? 15? But they are from a area near Tokyo, or in Tokyo, called Rururi, which is Rururi, which is a play on relay. And they literally have an amusement park called Kellyland. And if you don't know, that is the sound that a particular Lovecraftian abomination makes. And then the very last thing that I'll mention out of stuff I've been doing is looking at Sword World.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to yet, but I did download it. I just haven't unzipped it yet.
Yeah. Because it is very interesting. For those who weren't here for prior stuff, Sword World is the TTRPG made by the same group who ran and did Record of Lodoss War. I don't know how many of them are still with the group, or how many new members, because we did lose the
Yeah, no, we don't
player
actually
of Deedlit.
know most of the members anyhow.
Yeah, and we don't know most of the members anyhow, but I don't know how many of the original members of SNE, which I think is the name of the group, are still around. But the main writer is still up and kicking, was doing something as recently as 2018. Plus, stuff that has to deal with the property, like the Deedlit Metroidvania. But the one thing that really fascinated me, and I told Kat about this one, is the bubble world, which is their word for a alternate setting that is not the main setting, called Monochromatica.
Yeah, that one's got my attention as well. I really want to
Like
open up the books and dig into that.
Yeah, like there's some juice there because what Monochromatica is it is a setting where most of the world is in shades of black and white. Most people never see color until they witness somebody die, because that's
Yeah,
where the magic of the soul comes out.
it's only the recently dead that have color, or well, the things that the gods have touched.
Yeah, things that the gods have touched, like heroes who, well, those who uh, returned from death. Because it's not necessarily heroes, but it's people who refuse to die and make a contract with the gods.
The art is incredibly compelling. Like the first one you sent me, like, okay, that's just like a fancy stained glass dragon. It's kind of cool. I like the symbolism and everything. But then like that second one where it actually shows the person who is returned from death. That's the good shit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in fact, I am going to.
It's a little weird to me that she's wearing a corset like that, but sure, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, like that. Not. It
Fucking
is what it
fantasy.
is.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
God damn it.
But yeah, let me get those two images saved and converted because they are in WebP because I hate Discord. Let's see. Yeah, so the one Cat really liked, and I like too, because it gives you a feel of the character just in this partially colored state. Uh, and thank goodness for fan translators, because this does not have an English translation officially.
Which makes me sad.
It is sad, but also it is a small group, so I understand they don't have the big bucks to pay translators what they're worth, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, the art in all the books are quite sparse, unfortunately, because again, paying an artist what they're worth. So it's good to have these very striking images. And yeah, like this, and then I'll get the dragon one up here. Yeah, like a stained glass dragon, because yeah, and they even call it the stained lands, which I think probably does have to do with stained glass. I had to guess.
Maybe that may actually genuinely be what they're like, the kind of idea they're pulling on there.
Yeah. Because honestly, the writers here do show a good understanding of stuff that even English writers don't know, so I think they'd make a connection like that pretty easily.
Honestly, I one of the reasons why I want to like mine that shit for as many ideas as I can is because I've been stuck on a series of artifacts and magical items that I've been making for Well of Souls for years now. Been calling them the stained glass set, the same way that the that I call that other set, the hewn iron set or the Moonlight series, that kind of deal.
Gotcha.
Because like all of the really weird magic items that I have in setting all came from people studying artifacts to try and replicate them.
Gotcha. I mean, that makes sense.
Of course, like the Moonlight series came from the Moonlight sword.
Yeah.
No one knows where the fuck that is anymore, but it's somewhere. It exists.
Yeah. Yeah, the world in the setting, which I have to assume also counts for uh something in like Record of Lodos War, is people can be born with soul scars, which is what it sounds like is injuries upon the soul, either incurred in life or incurred in battle when you were taken up to the heavenly realm. And if you incur,
Interesting.
yeah, if you incur soul scars, you become something more barbarous, something, at least what they call barbarous races, which can be things like you can play a basilisk.
Okay. Interesting.
It's also where we get our vampires, who are called Nosferatu in this.
Yay, monster girls.
Indeed, you
Classic
do.
anime shit.
Though I'm not sure exactly how they do it, but it's not as like monster girl-tastic as you might think.
Well, I can't imagine that these soul scars are particularly common.
At least they're common enough that there are barbarous races, like whole races of folks like this, and some of them can be born with fewer soul scars. So there is that.
I just mean like it's probably not so common that like every village has a little monster toddler running around.
I mean, yeah, that's true. And you can incur soul scars in one lifetime, which can get you to develop horns and things like that. There's a whole chart for it.
Interesting. So you can just like straight up mutate based on your experiences in campaign. That's
Yep,
kind of cool. I like
absolutely.
that.
Just to give you, there is a Scissor Scorpion Artificer in one of the books, just to give us a look at a hero in setting. They don't exactly have a backstory, they're not like a recurring character, but they're an example of a hero you could make.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, because that's in one of the supplemental books.
Yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy going through those books quite a bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, just an artificer is considered like a minor class rather than a major class, which I don't know what that difference is, but that intrigues me. But yeah, illustration by Shiroichi Ono for this one. Just to call out the artist since I can see their credit there.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah,
I kind of like that there's like the credit for the artist on the page rather than in the back of the book.
yeah, absolutely. I adore that as well. Just as a way to just give them the credit right there, and you can go, yeah, that art piece was made by them specifically, and we don't have to flip back and forth.
Yeah, because we don't do that for in most cases, at least in Western TTRPGs. So
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And then the other setting is actually Tales of the other bubble world is Tales of the Dragon, which is uh, their look at a more Japanese inspired setting.
okay, now that I'm kind of interested in that because you don't see very many like we call it like a generic fantasy European, like European fantasy land. So
Mhm.
like in this case, generic Japanese fantasy land. We don't really see that very often. In
Yeah,
fact, I don't think I've
absolutely.
ever really seen that.
It
Maybe like once or twice.
doesn't look like they've finished translating this setting, unfortunately, but hopefully soon.
That'd be cool. I wanna have a look at that for sure.
Yeah, and there's definitely art for it, so there is that. Like, let me.
So aside from occasionally playing video games with Mal's entire household, uh, I have been like finding and reading more comics again because I just wanted to. Um, I don't really have much to do when we're not on stream and I'm not at PT, so I just sort of like read or do research on various things, whatever. In this case, I actually found one that is extremely interesting to me. I can't even really identify why it's so compelling specifically. Um, it's called Trapped with the Female Lead in a Horror Game. Or not
Oh,
female lead, with the male lead in a horror game. I don't know
interesting.
why the title specifies male lead. Like the male character, Dietrich, is the player character of the game. And like it's not a romance. Like the only other actual character that you see that in the game is the person that gives Dietrich his tasks for surviving in the manor, which is Charlotte, which is who the actual main character of the comic is. It's
Gotcha.
the person who was playing the game became Charlotte in this particular comic. So I don't know why it specifies with the male lead in a horror game. It's because he's the only character that you can play. But whatever. Yeah, but there's just something about it that tickles my brain meats. I just started reading it today, so I haven't had time to really think on it too much. But I'm almost done with what's currently out, like what's finished by the publisher right now. Um, I think part of it is that she's only sometimes controlled by the curse of the manor to act like Charlotte did in the game.
Oh,
So she's struggling against like those constraints at the same time. Because she definitely does not want Dietrich to die and her to go back to being locked in this fucking manor for years on end. Because that's what happened before the game even like the comic even started. She was stuck in this damn manor as Charlotte, waiting for more people to show up for years
oof.
as the only person in the manor. So it's just sort of damn. But no, I lost the thought that I was on. I hate how that happens sometimes in the middle of a sentence. That upsets me.
Oh, nice. So, in uh, the third core book, they mentioned that once you hit level 11, your racial ability actually gets better as well.
Oh, that's cool. It is extremely difficult to make and balance a racial ability that will be useful at level 1 without being overpowered, but still be useful at level cap.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, I don't know what the original version is, but the ability for a elf is soak your whole body in water for 1 hour. You can recover HP and MP as though sleeping 6 hours.
That's actually stupid good. Holy shit.
Yeah, right?
Like the only thing that I could so in D&D that you also have racial abilities, of course. But like there's a reason why everyone always like played humans for the most part in D&D because that free feat slot that you got as a human could do most things that other races could get as their racial abilities. So it just gave you a whole lot more like versatility and range of your character build. Also let you have like wild shit at level 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
Like
that's the
2
thing.
background feats, for example. That's really powerful. Whereas like elves got the ability to like they automatically ran search checks instead of spot checks, which is in modern D&D that would be the difference between passive perception and active perception. So you would essentially for an elf in D&D 3.5 and the 3X, you would count your active perception from D&D 5e as your passive perception score. So, yeah, you wanted your fucking what's it called? Your rogues, your skill monkeys to be elves because then they wouldn't have to like constantly run search checks. They wouldn't have to spend the time in game to do a search check. They would just get that bonus to their spot check instead.
Gotcha.
Of course, there was also shit like they had dark vision or low light vision it was called back then. Which meant that they didn't need to have a fucking torch in their hand either. So like elves, dwarves, and humans were probably the most powerful in 3.5 because of that.
Yeah, and it hasn't changed that much. I mean, you're considered a basic bitch if you go for variant human, but also it gives you a lot.
Yeah. Like even me with like my obsession with weird builds and TTRPGs and video games in general, like I still like I had to fight the temptation to go like human. Because it just gives you so much extra shit being able to do that, just have that extra feat at the very beginning.
Okay, I have to be a. It's very funny. They call one of the campaign settings Vice City,
Oh no.
and it has nothing to do with what we're picturing right now. But it does tickle my funny bone.
I'm looking at that first picture you sent of the Japanese inspired bubble world.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's basically from that little blurb that it has there, those who protect the people and nation from incidents caused by Aramitama, the fierce aspect of the dragon deity who created the earth. That's the only difference from real Shinto mythology is that it's not a dragon deity. That's it. Like, it's just the yokai in general.
Yeah.
I like that elven knight a lot.
Right? But yeah, if you guys look for the subreddit for Sword World, you'll get directed to the files for the translation.
I wonder if that kid in the middle is supposed to be a half elf between like those two characters.
I have to wonder, yeah.
Because like he's got the dude on the left's hair color, but the eyes and ears of the girl on the right.
Yeah, so there's a good chance of that actually, now that you mention it. But yeah, this is a story campaign, which I would have translated as City of Vice, but I understand Vice City is kind of great.
I can't tell if that's supposed to be a cat girl or a wolf girl.
Where?
The second image of the Japanese Fantasyland one.
Yeah, I can't. I think it's Cat, just judging by her tail.
But those ears look a lot more like a wolf than a cat.
That's true.
Which is why I'm like I'm looking between these two animal aspects, going which one is it? Which one?
Yeah. But yeah, just deeply fascinated with this. Spoilers, we enjoyed Record of Lodoss War again, so.
Yes, we enjoyed the 3 episodes we watched. So we'll get to them later, but like yes, we enjoyed them a lot. It strikes me as a little bit weird that people think of like animal people as this anime trope, but it's not really.
It's
It's a
pretty fucking
mythology,
yeah,
honestly.
it's our mythology in general. But I also kind of get it because they also lean into that for anime.
Yeah, like in Europe, mostly like animals were like the mythological versions of animals were not animal people. Even when they were shapeshifters, they were still very much animals.
Yeah.
But in Japanese mythology, on the other hand, like the animal spirits as yokai were very much like people, even if they kind of weren't. They were much like more even fusion of the two, rather than something like Fenrir always being a giant fucking wolf. You know,
Yeah.
I think the major difference is just that we anthropomorphize them differently.
Yeah.
Anthropomorphize. There we go. Anthropomorphize them differently. I think animal spirits show up more often as outright gods in the West, whereas animal spirits in Japan are just animal spirits, sometimes gods, but a lot of the time they're just like motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like
And then
aside from Tamamo no Mai, the most famous kitsune spirit that I can even think of is actually like literally just like some fox spirit who was just like, I'm gonna go get drunk with the monks. And then he shapeshifted himself into a monk and went and got drunk with the monks. That's all it was. He just went and got drunk with the monks. That's the entire story. He just got so drunk that his transformation slipped a little bit and he was driven out. That's all. Like, yeah, you've got the very occasional like 8 or 9 tailed kitsune who like are essentially gods, but yeah, most of the time you just got like this motherfucker who wanted to get drunk with the humans, which is honestly very funny to me.
yeah, absolutely. And then another world building thing that is kind of neat is their gods are largely divided into 3 groups. Because each of the original gods, like and the most powerful gods, were made such by touching objects called the Swords of Genesis. So the first sword, the Sword of Harmony, Lumiere, uh, they're gods of light, essentially. They can be harmony, creation, fertility, peace, knowledge, and imagination. Second sword is the Sword of Freedom, which can have malevolent gods in it as well. So it is freedom, destruction, reincarnation, liberation, and strength, as well as the arts. And then the third is the Sword of Wisdom, Cardia, and that's wisdom, thoughts, knowledge, magic, mana, and that sort of thing. And they're how the original gods gained apotheosis. But some gods are now so powerful they can provide apotheosis to beings themselves.
Interesting.
So yeah, as you can tell, I'm very fascinated by the world building. I just wish they had the funding to have more pictures.
Yeah, I mean that's indie TTRPG guys, you know? Like we can't afford to have that many pictures. Even like when one of the creators is like an artist themselves, like
It's still like, yeah. So, for example, we just get the example characters as what we get for each race. Like the example characters that they give you in case you don't want to put together your own character. You just want to introduce somebody to it without fiddly bits.
I would honestly love to see more anime and like just like TV shows and movies and shit like that in general of people's like weird little gremlin TTRPG campaigns
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
settings overall.
Also, gosh dang it. They should have given the girl dwarfs beards, but they did not. At least that dwarf paladin, anyway.
Uh, I think the best version I've ever seen was I can't even remember the name of the game now, but there was a game about dwarves a while back. I think it was an RPG. I can't remember. But the female dwarves had instead of like full beards or
Mhm.
just like no beard like humans, they had like these very long like their sideburns went all the way to their jaw is basically where I'm going with this, which I think was really nice. That's just like it was a way to make the female dwarves still look feminine while giving them the extra hair and burliness and everything that like you would expect from a dwarf.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. So for the first book, we have humans, elves, dwarves, tabbits, which are very small. If you know Loporits, kind of look like that. Rune folk, which are manufactured humanoids, which actually I'm going to send that to you because that's pretty good. Nightmares and lycants, which lycants are kind of werewolves slash shifters. Like they have just an animal ears and tail form, but they also have a standing wolf form.
I'm into that. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured
I
you
need to
would.
do more shit with like animal people in my fantasy because I don't usually.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like I need to throw that spice in there a little bit, you know? Like there are some in Well of Souls, but they're so far like they're from a place very far away from the base play area that like you basically never see them. And I feel like I need to do more because I like them a lot. I
Ooh,
just don't know what to do with them.
I love that dragon for the in the second book. That dragonborn essentially. Let me try and get that.
That's a fucking rifle made right there.
That is a rifle maid right there. Yes. She
That is a battle made with a giant fucking gun.
Yes, indeed. She is a manufactured humanoid made in the Age of Magic.
Please tell me this motherfucker's name is actually Lil Draken Bodybuilder.
Well, that is the name of the
Okay, that's probably the class, isn't it?
yeah,
That's the
kind of
species in
class.
class.
Yeah, that's the species in class.
The fact that the species is named Lil Draken, though. Little Dragon, really?
Well, I mean, it fucking fits. I mean, what
I
more do
mean,
you
it's
want?
true, yeah, but also, fuck.
We have grass runners, which are kind of your
Imagine if
halflings.
there was imagine if there was a setting where humans were called Little Giant.
I mean, I would
That's what's
kind of
going on
like
here.
that. I'd be into
Because
that.
I do know of settings where like humans are the descendants of giants, but they're not called Little Giants.
I would be
I
fine
can't
being
remember
called
any of
Little
the settings off the top of my head, but I do know of some. Actually, I think Elder Scrolls might be one of them. I think if I recall correctly, there's legends in Skyrim,
that
the actual
suggest it.
place,
Yeah.
not the video game, but the place that suggests that the giants are literally the like cousins of the Nords. Grass runner. Let me guess. Halfling.
Yeah, they're kind of the halflings. And then we
Yeah, that seems about right.
also have Fey Touched, which don't have a lot of differences from like a human, if I'm honest.
Let me guess, they're just like humans that are touched by magic or spirits or fairies or something.
Let me see, actually.
Looking at the blurbs that are here, yeah,
Oh,
that's
no,
basically
it
it.
is the Fey Touched is a class
Interesting. So what the fuck's a Maria then?
or the Maria are a rare case of a plant turned humanoid.
Interesting.
They were said to have arisen on the All-Frame continent where plants are abundant and especially common in the East.
So is this monochromatia or
No, this
monochromatica?
is default setting, core rulebook.
Okay, so this is like Felicia or Felixia, whatever the fuck it is.
Uh,
I can't remember.
uh, they call it Raxia now in these
Raxia,
books.
okay. Or Celia, that's it.
Yeah. Their skin color is like that of humans, but some do have a green tint or can even go completely green.
So the name of Forcelia is Raxia now?
Yes. Yeah, the name of the planet is Raxia.
Okay.
Which, fair enough. It's been a while.
Which that actually makes sense because like I'm seeing under Forcelia that there is a race called the Grass Runners. It's fucking halflings.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, which honestly, Grass Runner works for halflings. I kind of like that better than halflings.
So do I, yeah. And obviously we can't use fucking
Hobbits.
Hobbit. There we go.
Yeah, cannot do that.
I'm looking at this, but I can't tell if Rexia is the new name or if Rexia is a new one.
Well, it is the core setting which has the island of Lodos in it.
Okay, so it's just a new name for the older thing.
Yep. Yeah, it has the island of Lodos. It has the settings, the locations of other stuff that we will eventually watch. Because fuck yes, we will.
Yeah, what's the most recent one is like a record of Grand Crest War, I think.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Let's see, record of Grand Crest. Yeah. War. I'm just looking at it and I kind of like the splash screen art of this. Like it looks nice.
Let me see. Oh yeah, that is a nice
And of
splash
course like
screen.
the novel art as well. There you go. Sent a couple to you.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more like it can look a little bit more traditional anime because of they're using modern tools at this point, which good for them.
Yeah. The party seems a lot better balanced in terms of gender now as well.
Oh,
Which
that's
I know Record of Lodos War was like that because the players didn't make like a bunch of women. Only one of them made a female character. So I get it. Like
yeah.
I'm not shitting on Record of Lodos War for that or anything like that. It's just,
Yeah, though I am glad
knowing
that
that this
they,
is
did that and they realized, oh, we're making a media out of this and decided to be a little bit more varied.
yeah, like it once
Especially,
you once you start making like an actual story out of your thing, like you gotta like, actually think it's like, okay, I should probably like showcase that yes, women in this setting can be warriors.
yeah, exactly. Like, I'll be a little bit more critical of things that come after the first work. Because the first work, I go, okay, you were just
Literally
making,
just an adaptation of like this dude having fun with his friends. I get it. I gotcha.
yeah, like absolutely. Like I'm not critical of Critical Role's first, season because that was literally started as a birthday present.
Okay. The other one that we got to look at is Legend of Crystania, but I don't know if there's any anime for it. Oh, there is. There is an OVA called The Chaos Ring.
Excellent. But yeah,
We got 3 episodes, but hey, I mean, it's also an old one too. It's almost as old as I am.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm especially looking at that gentleman with the red eyes
In which one?
in the first image, the one with the knives.
Oh yeah. The butler looking guy, Battle
Yeah,
Butler.
yeah. And
I
Valkyries
didn't notice
are
that girl. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't notice that girl right behind him, but like there's Valkyries. Valkyrie design. Look at that.
yes, and Valkyries are a race. Uh, they are
Interesting.
actually a kind of deviant in that they come usually from humanoids, but they don't come from necessarily other Valkyries. It's someone who, at least by assumption and setting, they don't have any soul scars and are particularly pure.
Interesting.
Because you
Okay,
can
there's
have
another
like,
one that he made as well called Rune Soldier,
yeah, but you can
which I think
have
is in the same setting.
yeah, you can have a
Yes.
like I think up to 7 soul scars before you start to show it.
Okay, fair enough.
And actually, the party is a little bit bigger than those two would suggest. Neat.
That's good. It's very good.
Yeah, here.
Like it's got to be. I feel like it's like the platonic ideal or that out of reach dream that every fucking like TTRPG creator
Is like
like
6 to
dreams of
7.
is like no not for our parties, but I mean like having your setting or the campaigns you run get turned into like a cartoon or an anime or a movie or something like that.
Yeah, at least
Like
like
someone to look
having
at
some
like
comics or something. Yeah.
yeah, like you to like be talking to a friend about like, oh yeah, I did this cool thing in my game last week, and they're like, you know what? That sounds like a really fucking good idea for a story. Let's get working on that.
Yeah, seriously.
Like that's I can't imagine anything greater, like a greater compliment to my work than someone looking at me and saying, "Hey, we should do that."
Yeah, we should do that.
And like for it to not be my idea even, right? Because
Yeah.
I have like all sorts of shit planned for all of my settings, you know, like I've got fucking web novels or web comics or games or what have you, whatever would best serve the story that I was thinking of writing planned for them. But if someone else, without me prompting them, said that to me, I'd be like, oh fuck, let's do it. I ain't care if it's bad. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be so fucking excited over that. Shit. My hands smell like ham. Like I just put my hand over my mouth to like while I was resting my elbow and my fucking armrest of my chair, and I just smelled ham. Oh god. Oh, I need another capture link. It busted on me.
Gotcha. Let's see. But yeah, that's 50 minutes of us mostly gushing about Sword World.
Yeah, but I'm very eager to get into it. But before we do, I need to go check on that ham.
All right, folks. So we will be right back, and then we
Yeah,
will start on.
we'll be right
All
back. Just a couple of minutes. I gotta stick the fucking temperature gauge in the meat and see if it's done. That's it.
right. Be back, folks.
All right, I'm back.
Yes, hello,
I
everybody.
can. I do gotta go for a couple of minutes in 15, but we can at least get started on this first episode of whatever the fuck we're talking about first. What is it, by the way, that we're talking about first?
I think we should just go with 2B Hero X and just get that
All
out
right,
of the
fair
way.
enough. Said like Lodos War is probably gonna drag on because we'll start gushing about fucking Sword World again.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. All right, so here we go. To be Hero X. This episode was called "The Ever Standing Hero," I think.
Which, yeah, we get our
That is literal, by the way.
Yep. Which we start this episode by seeing someone in Fox, or not Fox, wolf head, like a wolf mask, setting up a bunch of bombs somewhere underground.
Whole fucking lot of bombs.
And we do see
Also, my brain was so huge during this episode. Fucking enormous.
absolutely.
It's actually just genre savviness, but
Yeah.
I'm still gonna claim huge brain for it.
Yeah. We see that Linling is still missing Moon, which
Of course,
understandable.
right?
Yeah, he does not have any fucking friends. Like, it's not
And
even.
Nice only had the one or two as well, so
Yeah. But Miss J goes, "You chose to stay here. Let's get rocking and rolling to get you into the top 10." Because as we find out, uh, Nice was at 15, not 10. So he was just in building 10 or whatever, or floor 10 of his building.
yeah. Which, like, the website is misleading as shit then.
Yeah. But I guess the whole point is that's where Nice is going to start in the rankings, which, fair enough.
Yeah.
When they actually get to the competition level.
Which, like, the competition, I don't think has even, like, been mentioned yet in the show. It's just, like, been in the premise or the blurb, right?
Yeah, it's basically just been in the in the premise and in the initial trailer.
Yeah, the marketing material.
Yeah.
Which, that's an interesting choice to have 3 episodes, but without even mentioning the competition that, like, your marketing material was based around.
Yeah, and we haven't seen any of the top 10 other than now we see Firm Man.
Which, like, I think it's hilarious because his actual name, like in Chinese and Japanese, is the English words stand up man. I noticed that like halfway through the episode. Like, what the fuck? Hold on.
Wow. But yeah, Firm Man is in the same company as Nice, and Linling. That mistake will always be relevant. But anyway, he's kind of like, it's that kind of rude to try and usurp his place, but Miss J's like, only one person can be X. And it's kind of true, so we're all kind of buy for that to some extent or another. But Firm Man was a firefighter who was saving a girl from a burning building, and the news caught him, in a feat of hysteric strength, standing up and holding up a piece of rubble to keep her safe.
Like, I'm surprised that he was even on his feet afterwards to even take the interview.
My guess is that because people saw him, that power thankfully rushed to him, and he was seen as a ever-standing hero even then.
Yeah,
Because it seems like it
It's
can
possible that like the belief of the few people that saw him at the very beginning, like as they were pulling the rubble away, like
either
kept him on
that,
his feet.
yeah, either that or the stuff from people who saw the news stuff was enough to heal him afterwards.
Something. Because
Something.
like what most people don't know about hysteric strength is that when you activate it and use it, it rips your body apart. Like it's not abnormal for someone who, after using hysteric strength to save their kid under the car or whatever, to have dislocated multiple bones and torn several different muscle groups. Like there are people who use hysteric strength and had muscle groups completely tear away from bone afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's the thing is, yeah, you got to do a really fucking amazing thing and hopefully get out of it okay. Relatively okay. But also,
Yeah,
your
like
body's gonna be fucked because there's a reason
you're
you don't get to
probably going
do
to be
that.
having to go through physical therapy afterwards for a while. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. But we see that
Uh,
he didn't immediately realize he was super powered until fucking Esol. Well, actually, I lied. We do get to see a little bit of Esol chasing a speedster villain.
yeah, and we knew that he was a hero beforehand because the phone call that he takes while this scene is happening is he's asking like what other heroes is he supporting.
Yeah, okay, so he does know he's a hero, but he definitely is a little confused by the fact that Esol just chases this speedster villain, and the speedster villain just ladders on him.
Yeah, just absolutely fucking atomizes himself on Firm Man's shoulder.
Yeah,
And like the Firm Man or stand up man doesn't even goddamn notice. Like he thinks he just dropped his fucking drink or whatever.
yeah, he's not sure
Which
what's
he did
going
drop his
on.
drink. But like he just immediately he just goes, "Oh man," and turns around and like goes back into the fucking convenience store. Is like, "Hey, can I get another cola?"
Yeah, exactly. And then they made a big fucking statue out of him, which he acted as the fulcrum for to even get it in the first place. Get the large stone in the first place.
It's also the first place that we actually see his trust value indicate like induced disability indicated.
Yeah, because at the
The
ceremony,
episode name, like I said, is literal.
yes, because at the ceremony, he's greeted by the girl he saved with a red sash for him. And he tries to bend
I
down
think
the.
the subtitles called it a stole, but the Japanese dub actually just says scarf. So I don't know.
But either way, it is a symbol of a hero, especially in Japan.
Yeah, we see it a lot in superhero works coming out of Japan actually.
Yeah, it is a big thing.
Like this long scarf looking thing.
Yeah, and
Like
usually red.
there's actually a few non superheroes but very much superhuman characters that I could think of that do it. Um, like Ninja Gaiden, for example, and then there's this other fucking ninja game that I can't actually remember the name of, but
Gotcha,
it features a female hero, and she also has a red scarf.
gotcha. But yeah, he
And
cannot
then, of
bend
course, like we
down
got
all
more
the
recently,
way
like
to
Deku
get
and all
it.
of them that also have scarves. I don't know why this is a heroic symbol for Japan, but it is. I don't speak Japanese, and I'm not literate in Japanese, so I can't exactly look it up. My phone will not. There we go. Just wasn't fucking responding. Okay, that was not 15 minutes, but my housemate's here, so I gotta
Yeah. All
go
right.
get this shit.
Be right back, folks.
Yep.
Hey,
For
everyone.
people on YouTube end, that was just a quick little jump cut. But for the stream, that was like 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, something like that, of me just like grunting in the background, although I was muted, but still. And me complaining and yelling at my cats once I got back. Oh, buddy.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
and
physical
you're
therapy be
not
a
getting
thing.
fed early. Ugh, oh shit! I just I went to stretch my leg backwards a little bit, like underneath my chair, and kicked the little fucking spring adjustment box
Ah.
with my Achilles tendon.
Oh.
Why is my life like this? Send help. Someone just like pay me to be their fucking cave gremlin that draws pretty pictures, please. Oh my gods.
Yeah. Yeah. So we do get Ferdinand's
I'm gonna have
nemesis,
to fucking
Wolf Girl.
childproof my cave, dude.
She is
Oh gods.
spreading some sort of misinformation allegedly about Ferdinand, trying to change people's perception of his legend.
Where the fuck is my bag? Hold on, sorry.
Yeah.
I had a bag of groceries when I came in, but I
Yeah. Ferdinand is considered the
keep going. I think I left it in the back room of the house. I'll be right back. Well, I'll keep my
gotcha.
headphones on now. Keep talking.
Yeah, they consider Ferdinand to represent the Heroes Association. So that's part of the reason he's so rigid is he's got this big ass statue that represents him. And it's kind of Atlas holding up the world, but really he's holding up like a ring, like a radiant ring or something. I'm not sure if it's meant to be a city or what the ring itself is meant to represent, but he's holding up something large. And as that's progressed, he's gotten stiffer. And Wolf Girl has been trying to change the image of him in some way or fashion. And also, Birdman's never encountered her because she keeps being in little dens in the fucking sewer system and shit.
He's a sewer goblin.
She is a sewer goblin.
All right. Yes, I did in fact leave my grocery bag in the laundry room when I set down the dog food.
Gotcha.
Good. I
So
definitely did not want them to be back there because I got like chocolate wafers and shit in here.
yeah, so they have evidence of where her den is, and so a lot of heroes are actually trying to find her.
Oh shit. Ghirardelli caramel chocolate bars.
Oh, nice.
That's fancy chocolate in the States.
that,
I know it's
that
not actually that fancy
yeah, it's
compared
not
to the
that
rest of the world, but
fancy,
like
but it's the closest thing
for the
most
States.
of us are gonna get.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like this was on clearance and it was $1 for 30 grams of chocolate here in the
Nice.
States. So
But yeah, so they have a bunch of heroes going after Wolf Girl, which we get to see the kind of backstabby kind of things we get with heroes, because Lin Ling goes in and he sees a hero that's stuck in a pipe because yeah, the hero's kind of a bit big for these pipes. So pulls him out and is
yeah,
like,
this is the kind of motherfucker that you don't want crawling in tight spaces because they will absolutely get stuck.
yeah, exactly. And that's just, that is what it is. Like, that's literally just logistics. And these pipes are already way too big than what they should be, to be honest.
That depends, honestly.
Fair enough.
I
But
have definitely seen bigger sewer pipes.
yeah. But in general, yeah, so he saves this hero who doesn't give his name, but he's like, of course, Lin Ling
Shut
pulls him
up,
out,
Ember.
and it's like,
Because Lin Ling's actually like a decent guy.
yeah, and asks a name, and he's like, no, I'm nobody. Don't worry about it. And then he waits for Lin Ling to turn his back and tries to take a swing at him. But of course, Lin Ling's got more dexterity than that and just literally punts him right back into the same pipe he released him from.
Hard enough to crack the surrounding concrete, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Which either speaks to the strength, the density of that hero, or both.
Okay, no los dos.
Yeah.
Especially since I think we got a shot later of him being like hauled out on a stretcher.
Oh, jeez.
He got hit real hard.
Yeah. But yeah, they get down into the. Linling gets down into her den, and he realizes, oh, we've been led on a wild fucking goose chase.
Especially when he turns around, there's a fucking bomb on the ceiling behind him. He's just like, oh shit.
Yeah, but he's like just reading the book. He's like, and looking at the plans with the map. He's like, wait a second. Track my current location, Miss J. Not that it helps because they're 10 seconds from that thing going off. And
Yeah.
it does, and it cracks that fucking statue. And he was just giving an interview in front of it.
Yeah, he was doing like a sort of hero tour guide kind of deal.
Yeah,
To a bunch of children.
Yeah, like he was
It's
doing
actually kind of nice that he does that.
Yeah,
like that's great shit.
Yeah, like that is nice. And I mean, it is just plain good PR, but he does it to be nice.
These wafers pretty good. I like these.
So he saves the girl, but then Wolf Girl shows up, which I actually do think, yeah, that is like a peasant woman look, like a medieval, or not medieval, but a settler kind of peasant. Because she even
Looks
has
pretty nunnish to me, but let's see.
Because she's kind of has a bonnet on her on top of her mask as well.
Probably to cover her hair.
Probably, but it gives the look to me of like what a settler would wear. But either way, she grabs a girl out of the field trip group and goes, "I'm gonna kill her if you don't drop that statue," because he's still holding up the statue. But then finally, first off, we do see that a bunch of heroes were led by the fucking nose and were in the pipes and shit. We do see that hero that took a swing at Lin Ling going on the stretcher, yes. And Lin Ling finally gets out of there and gets to the scene and goes, "Hey, she's not going to kill the child. You're the person that... You're the child that he saved originally." And that is where Cat has the big brain, because Cat called this real early. It's a possibility.
I saw that girl and I was like, hold on a second. I saw the little girl, and then like I started making connections between like the little girl and the wolf girl, and I was just like, yeah, no. This is definitely like the little girl in disguise. You know, grown up and everything.
Yeah. Because we see from her perspective in more of that comic style, it took him time. It took struggle. She got to see the human element of him. And she tried to depict that in art and things she said, but people called her a liar. Like, she drew him in art class and drew him as struggling and said, yeah, no, he actually does cry as a person.
She was there that day, you know?
Yeah.
It was her.
But she went through high school constantly being called a liar, and she's just like, enough of this. She's like, bring that person back to me. Bring back the person I remember.
Yeah, I think it was when we saw the scene of him trying to bend over for the little girl so she could put the scarf on him that I called it.
Yes, that's
when I was like, I saw it, and I saw the small shift in her expression. I went, oh, that's Wolf Girl.
And finally, finally, he gets to cry, and his tears crack those boots that were causing him to be unable to bend. But the problem is, he's now bending with a giant weight on top of him. But
Yeah.
thankfully, Lin Ling is there to intervene.
I think Wolf Girl even tries, right?
Yeah, she goes to his side at the very least. She goes to Fern Man's side. And it's caught on camera that Lin Ling's holding this up as nice. And we see the kind of active power of people perceiving him can give, because he goes from down on one knee to lifting it entirely. And we see that his trust value does overpower and go to from 15 to 10. And he does manage it.
And of course, this is only possible actually because Miss J has the biggest brain possible moment here, and while this is happening, turns on a live stream from the Hero Association.
Yeah, exactly. She turns on the live stream, shows it, and people are seeing him from across, the globe, and are like, "Holy shit, that's what Nice can do? Okay." So he goes to after all that, obviously there's news stories and things. But yeah, now there's a shifting in ranks, and he goes to his new apartment just to talk to Furman, not to like kick him out quickly or anything. But we also see here the Hero Association is
Fucking ruthless.
ruthless. They're like, you can pack up today and tomorrow, but be gone by tomorrow night. Yeah. And he's like, first thing I'm gonna fucking do now that I'm not Firm Man, just gonna lie around and relax for at least half a month. Honestly, man, you deserve a whole month at least, but you do you.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like he hasn't been able to lay down for like what, like 15, 20 years?
something like that. Because he can't bend down in the shower. He couldn't bend down to use the toilet. And it's not even like a squat toilet that might actually work for him. It's just a regular toilet. And this poor, poor man. Like I'm laughing because I would otherwise be just appalled.
I don't think he can even like really squat, honestly.
Yeah, it doesn't look like
Because
he
that's
can
like one of the things that he does when Nice asks him what he's gonna do. He immediately squats.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm gonna lay down for a while. And then he just like holds that chair sitting position for a while.
Yeah, and this poor fucker is up on strapped to a bed because he can't lay down in one. And Lin Ling tries to open up to him, but he's kind of like, I'll give you a little advice, but also you chose this.
Yeah.
And he even says, I'm not nice, which is fucking amazing that he just,
Well, I mean, Nice's name probably wasn't nice to begin with either.
yeah, that's also fair. But all
Which is probably what Firm Man is thinking. It's like, oh yeah, of course you're not nice. I'm not Firm Man.
yeah, I'm just a guy who was a firefighter who was in the right place at the right time.
How did Nice's hero legend start? I don't think we know yet.
No, we do not. He might be corporate from top to bottom.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's definitely possible.
Because we do get the impression that they started cultivating him early. But he's kind of just thinking over, wait, what do I want? Didn't Moon ask me the same thing? And he's looking at himself in the reflection and seeing actual Lin Ling. But then suddenly, on a blimp, Moon and God Eye.
In her like hero outfit, even, which is like really weird.
Yeah,
God must have like somehow forced her into it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that means.
Assuming this is actually Moon, of course.
Yeah, but I'm going to assume that is actually Moon.
Yeah, I've got to assume that as well.
Because she lost, all or most of her trust value. She held it long enough to teleport one more time, but then she left her gun behind. But yeah, God Eye's like, yeah, congratulations on the new top 10, but I'm gonna reveal shit about you.
Which is honestly just kind of fucked up. It's like, dude, Moon was retired. That's why we did that, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, but he doesn't care. He's mad that he got screwed over by trying to reveal it and got one-upped. So, of course, he goes ahead and captures Moon. I don't think he has any necessary intent to kill Moon. I think he just wants to change the perception of a hero, kind of in a actual evil version of what Wolf Girl was trying to do. Because, fucking kidnapping. Not good, y'all. I do kind of like his new glasses.
Yeah, I mean his new outfit is pretty cool.
Yeah, his new outfit looks pretty good. And I think he's a good first villain that's actually nice as villain and not just, a actor, a hero acting as a nemesis. This guy actually has animus towards nice.
Okay, so we were talking that like Wolf Girl might not have any like supernatural powers or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think that's actually wrong because her hands are deformed into like sort of
Claws,
werewolfy looking shit.
Yeah, that is
And
true.
it's not just the claws, but it's also like the shape of her fingers and everything. So I think she is affected by the fear value.
Yeah,
like
so
she does have a fear value.
Yeah, so she does have a fear value, which, fair enough. Like, as Batman shows, you can be a villain that produces, or you can be a hero that produces fear. Not that she's necessarily a hero, she's just trying to help the one person and then feels free to give it up after that. Like, I'm sure she's gonna go to prison for a while, but she's satisfied.
If they could fucking catch her.
I mean, if they can fucking catch her, yes. But also, she's done.
Because I wouldn't let myself be caught for that. It's like, fuck you, dude. I was doing a service to someone. Eat shit. Fuck your laws.
I mean, fair enough. I'd probably see if I could make enough scratch to go to another country under a false name at least. But she's done. That's the thing she set out to do. She's not going to continue to do villainous work at the very least.
It would be interesting if she did become a hero, though. I think I would like that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can be a hero that invokes fear in the right people.
That is interesting. That is an interesting idea. What determines whether you have a trust value or a fear value?
I think just whichever one's greater. Though it does seem like there are ways to be bestowed an item for fear-related things.
Yeah, I think what that item does, because they called it a fear amplifier, right? I would assume that what it does is it amplifies the effect of what fear you do have on you.
Yeah.
What fear value you do have. So there actually may be a trust amplifier as well.
Maybe. There's at least a possibility you can do that, but I don't know. We don't know the logistics of how fear amplifiers work for a start.
I mean, just by the name, like it sounds like it amplifies the effect of what fear you have rather
Yeah,
than gaining even more. Of
yeah,
course, like what you do with the fear amplifier would gain you more, but
yeah. I more meant like, how does it affect the body or the substance of trust or fear? We don't know the actual like mechanics, I should say.
it doesn't seem like we'll actually get that information either, to be honest.
It's
'Cause it
true.
seems like this seems like one of those situations where like you don't really need that information for the story,
Yeah,
so they just not gonna say it. Because honestly, it doesn't really matter. I'm just curious because like I like world building details.
yeah, me too.
Like that's my shit. That's my jam right there. Give me
Yeah.
like the most detailed shit you can. And I don't
One,
mean like I'm not demanding amateur authors go and make a Silmarillion or anything like that, but just, let your love of your world bleed through in your characters' actions
yeah,
and
absolutely.
what they do, how they dress, how they talk.
I do have one theory. Is providing the fear of an organization to an individual.
That does seem to be what happened to God Eye. I can't actually remember his Inlight. There we go. Inlight. That was his hero name.
Yeah, and lighter.
But
Yeah.
that does seem to be what happened to him. Like he wore the symbol of the organization and therefore received the fear value of the
Or at least an
organization.
amplifying effect via the.
Yeah,
So I think that might be the
because I don't
problem.
think many people really like were afraid of Inlighter, right? Like they just sort of
Yeah, they just thought, he kind of is what he is, and oh, cool, he managed to debunk that one guy, but he tried to tarnish Nice's image and got punched flat on his face.
because he was like ranked 240 or 250, right?
Yeah, it was
He
like,
had to be like fairly strong. So
yeah,
he must have just like got caught off guard or something by that guy.
yeah, probably just caught off guard because he's focusing in, he was focusing in. Plus, we don't know exactly what abilities he had as an enlighter. Like, it seems it
I would
might
assume
be,
like similar abilities to what he's got now, but just not evil.
yeah, but I think it's primarily like he had perception based powers. Like,
Yeah,
along with the lie detector, like, you could go, oh, that guy's heartbeat lowered for a bit, or raised for a bit, rather. So I think that's kind of where we're going here. The thing I want to narrow in on is I think we have a repeating motif of statues, and
we do. Yeah.
that's something I've brought up because we have the statue of Nice, we have the statue of X that is in the opening that gets cut at the head halfway, and then we have the statue of Furman.
And each one is like damaged in the course of like their scenes, right?
Yeah, to one degree or another. And with Nice is not really getting damaged per se,
Yeah,
but
it's so much as like temporarily defaced. Because I'm sure Nice cleaned it afterwards, considering like his he's picking up the previous Nice's fucking like OCD and shit.
yeah. But yeah, just the thing of rigidity and the rigid image of a hero, of a given figure. Nice has a very rigid image, and it was only through, and it was kind of gaudy, as they said, and it only became kind of okay when he turned it into a swing.
Yeah. I wonder if he's gonna have a statue in his new digs too. Oh no.
I
I
kind of,
wonder if the Hero Association is gonna shove that on him.
yeah, I kind of wonder if they will at least move the old statue back up there. Granted, they might just
I
fucking
feel like they
expect.
might need I think they might need Nice's help for that.
Yeah, I was about to say they might expect Nice to fucking do that because I hope those windows fucking open because otherwise they're not fitting it through the elevator.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, like when statues are being constructed, they come apart in pieces, but like after they're already constructed, generally not.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
they don't.
supposed to stay that way.
Yeah, they're supposed to stay that way. Yeah, because yeah, if you don't know, the Statue of Liberty was delivered in many pieces, folks. Many, many pieces.
Yeah. And like generally, unless your statue is one that you've carved from one solid block, you're going to be putting it together piece by piece, but you're also going to put it together piece by piece in such a way that
It has the
it's not going to come
foundations.
apart again.
Yeah. It has the solid foundation, and it's not about to come apart again. Because it's going to stay where it is, or it's going to be transported through buildings that can sustain having it, brought in and out in one solid piece. So, yeah, I think we're going to get a repeated motif of statues.
Get your claws out of my chair, boy. Thank you, fucker. No, don't you yell back at me, you little shit.
But yeah,
I am large cat here, not you.
So we also get the kind of world building. Heroes are constantly backstabbing each other on their race to the top. Which, yeah, I think is more anti-corporation, anti-capitalism.
Yeah, definitely.
And B, because they are constantly at each other's throats, maybe not quite that bad, but definitely lower ranked heroes are taking swings at higher ranked heroes to try and win a larger spot, at least. They are disorganized as fuck because Wolf Girl led them by the nose, released where her den is at such a time as to get all the heroes running around in fucking sewers and pipes and never quite getting there in time before it all blew up.
Yeah, because I don't think the Hero Association is the only corporation doing this, right?
I think the association is the overlying government, and then it's the various companies, because I think it's like Freeling or something for.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's like Treeland or something like that.
Yeah.
3 Tree. There we go.
Yeah.
I think it's 3 Tree anyway, because it was shown in the opening shot of the first episode. Hold on a second. Let me go check. No, I don't need you to be playing music. Just let me see that billboard. Tree Man. There we go.
Yeah. So yeah, Treeman is what the actual corporation is called. The Hero Association is literally just the Hero Association for like government. A governing body or something that can kind of keep an eye on them.
It might even be just like a traditional guild where all the heroes, or most of the heroes at least, are a part of it, and it's ruled by like the top 10.
Yeah, that makes sense, because the only one who is not associated with an organization that we know of is X. At least out of the top 10. As they note in his character details, it's weird he's not involved with an organization. Which, makes sense. Some of these folks are probably associated with governments. Some of these folks are probably associated with, like, universities.
Yeah.
And so on.
I need to convince Trig to watch this so he has ideas to mine for Cinderfall.
Yes, Trigan needs to watch this.
I know I talked about it on the first time we went on about Hero X here, but the fear and trust value thing is very similar to the Gestalt consciousness of Cinderfall.
Yep, just more limited.
Not even, well, actually, yeah. The trust fear thing is more defined and limited than the Gestalt consciousness is, and that's like basically the only difference. And it affects not well, actually, yeah. I think this comes into play as part of the restrictions of having a defined fear trust system. As in the Gestalt consciousness, objects and places can also gain supernatural qualities through it.
Yeah. Whereas you wouldn't really have that with 2B Hero X. The most you can get is the theory that it's an organization also kind of develops a fear trust value.
Yeah, I like that idea because I also came up with that same idea for Cinderfall.
Which, I mean, it
So
makes sense. The reputation of an organization
yeah,
can mean a lot.
so Trig was originally not going to have the big three supernatural things in it, like werewolves, vampires, and witches. And
Right.
I convinced him to do all three through various means. Um, and that's where Audrey Azulf came from. She's the first werewolf that was created for Cinderfall. And I also created the first vampire for Cinderfall. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but her reputation title is the Shadow of Eden.
Ooh.
Because I was listening to a song. I can't remember the song. I can remember the lyrics. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Um, I cannot string them together enough for a search. Fuck. Von Gray, Poison in the Water. There we go. I was listening to that and watching the music video, which like I'll send that to Imal here so they can take a look at it as well.
Oh, yeah, I
But
remember this.
yeah, I've definitely sent this to you so that we can use it for opening songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like there's a shot of one of the singers, one of the musicians, biting into an apple and then pulling the apple away, and there's blood dripping down her lips. And I thought that's a really fucking good idea.
Yeah,
I like that.
absolutely.
So with Trig's help, we created the Garden of Eden, which is an actual place in on the east coast of Centerfall, because that's where the play area is. It's the east coast of the U.S. The Garden of Eden does actually exist. It is real, but it is not what you would expect from the biblical stories, because these stories got twisted to fuck as they were passed down over the decades. The cultists of Eden, as I called them, eat the fruits of the tree that's there in the garden and gain esoteric knowledge and abilities through eating it. And eventually, if they eat enough of these fruits, they can gain the ability to draw that same kind of knowledge and ability from the blood of other people. They're not immortal undead vampires, they are knowledge vampires. And I made one called the Shadow of Eden, who was planning to betray and devour all of the other cultists of Eden for their strength.
Yeah, I mean, fair. Like, you kind of expect somebody's thinking that.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that it's customary, traditional at this point, to share your blood with the other cultists when you return to the garden. So one of her things was supposed to be that she was going to be constantly making self-control, discipline, and meditation rolls in order to keep that
Secret.
knowledge of her plans out of her blood from the other cultists so that it could go off without a hitch.
I'm gonna guess
Never quite got to play her, but I really wanted to. It's really good. You gonna guess what?
Oh, I was gonna guess that she didn't get a chance to make those rolls.
Yeah. Sadly, no. Because all these Cinderfall campaigns that we have ever played are still in the Discord under the active tabletop section. Because we do plan on getting back to them. It's just we're sick and we're hurting and we're busy, you know?
We are
all of us.
disabled and involved in capitalism.
Yeah. Trig and Nate aren't quite disabled, but they are definitely involved in capitalism and are in no better shape than I am, honestly.
Yep.
Let's see. The Shadow of Eden. Here we go. Let me open up this fucking character page. Allison Greyheart. That's right. Oh, fuck. I actually made her a Charred Folk, too.
Oh, nice.
So the Charred Folk didn't exist either until I made Leia Foundling, my first Cinderfall character, and then I made Sophie. I think her name is Sophie Meyer, but they both like look very similar. And I decided, like, Trig decided in the background, I was like, hey, this Charred Folk idea is pretty fucking cool. I like this. Amber, get out of my laundry basket, you fucker! Come here. Why are you like this, boy? What are you doing, you little fucking monster? Damn it. He saw a bag sitting on top of my laundry basket and decided that he wanted to be inside the bag because he is the bag demon. Unfortunately for him, the laundry basket was not full. The bag was just sitting on the edge of it. So when he jumped inside inside the bag, he fell into the laundry basket all the way down with the bag.
That is indeed cat behavior.
I love my son.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, unless you have some final thoughts, we'll move on to Record of Lodos War.
Mostly just that I adore this kind of belief becomes reality magic system that they've got going on. And like, and part of that is definitely because it reminds me of Cinderfall, but most of it is I just like that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
There's a reason
just
why
cool.
I like Cinderfall so much. Like, Cinderfall is one of those settings that I think could very easily like take over, just sweep through like the TTRPG community the same way that like that one fucking World War One, I think, horror fantasy is dark fantasy one where it's got the artillery witches. I don't remember the name of it, but
yeah, I don't actually know it.
I'm pretty sure you do, but you just don't remember. Trench Crusade, that's it.
No, actually, I don't.
I'm surprised because I've definitely sent you images and shit, and I'm pretty sure we've talked about it before. But
also, the bad brain.
That's true. Yeah. Here's the artillery witch that I was talking about, actually.
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, no, I would have remembered seeing an image like that. Like my
Trench Crusade has some fucked up shit in it, and I love it a lot. But I genuinely think that Cinderfall has that potential.
Yeah,
Underdark is really Underdark has the juice as well, but it's too esoteric for most people, I think, because
yeah, a little bit.
Underdark, you're supposed to, as the player, not the DM, go into it completely fucking blind.
Yeah, like that is something
like that's the biggest ask possible of a TTRPG player, right?
Yeah,
you know, like literally nothing about the setting. Just make a character.
Yeah, like that is something that somebody into those kinds of ideas would definitely be super into, but would not be able to get like everybody in on that. That's in the TTRPG community.
Like, it's just it's really, really fucking good. That's actually how I met Trig. Was like he was running a forum campaign of like I think it was the second one he ever tried on the forums, at least, because he did a test run with his brother, I think he said, or something like that. I don't remember. There's some family member or another. And what that character that his brother created became like a meta character in the game, in the setting. But anyway, like on his second attempt to run it for like strangers, essentially, I signed up to play. And I made a character named Eric. He is also now a meta character in the setting.
Fair enough.
He was what Trig very affectionately calls a vat boy. He was born from a vat. The
Excellent.
genetically engineered assassin by the slave masters of mankind, the old lords. But like, you're not supposed to know that going into the game. You're supposed to just like describe your character's personality and their appearance and their skills. That's it. Nothing else. That's all you get. You don't even
Yeah.
get your stats from the DM. The DM handles it all. You don't know what your HP is. You don't know what your strength is. You don't know what your actual skill values are. None of it. So like it's one of those where like it's a huge ask, not just from the players, but for the DM, because the DM has to manage everything.
Which
But I
is
love it. I fucking love that game.
which is honestly interesting in that that is a way that older DMs used to do it back in original D&D.
Yeah, but that's also why like the original D&D wasn't amazingly popular.
Yeah, it's not until
Like there was the nerd thing, of course, but there was also like, but it's just really not that friendly to play.
no,
It's really
absolutely not.
esoteric and weird.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing that uh, I'll talk about this now, but like the thing with Sword World that might be a little confusing to folks at first is it is rather disparate books because they have 3 core books, which is just DM and player information.
I'm sending you some Trench Crusade images, by the way,
And world
so
information.
you can get the vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. I will look at that later. But just looking
It's
looking
got
at
a
these
it's
images though, for sure.
yeah, it's got the good shit. It's got the
Oh,
juice.
that
Like there's a
that
reason why it took over.
yeah, like that's got some flavors of Warhammer, but it is not just Warhammer.
Yeah, so that's actually where a lot of the fans of Church Crusade came from, because obviously Warhammer players and Warhammer enthusiasts like me are fucking sick of Games Workshop doing their thing and like all the
Being as awful
Nazis
as they
in the
are. So
community and
yeah.
everything. So we were so people were like they found this and went, hey, that's got the vibes. Let's go.
Yeah, like that's got the juice right there. I can work with that.
Yeah, and oof. Like I just want to look at the pretty pictures. These things are amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, a lot of the
Ignore the Smurf Marine here, but here you go.
yeah, a lot of the monstrous races in which they're called barbarous races in Sword World don't really look barbarous, but that's because they each have an alternate form.
By the way, this last one that I sent you that's loading right now is an angel. Everything else that I sent you is a demon, but this one's an angel.
Oh boy, so that big monstrosity with a fucking wheel on it. Or
Oh, that's a human. That's like a tank. That's like a tank that
okay.
humans made.
This is an angel. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, there's a reason why why the religious like people in this setting, which you just saw with the big wheel monstrosity boy, are like that. There's
Yeah.
a reason why they are the way they are.
Yeah, because their angels are like that. Holy fuck. That is.
I think the angels might be worse than the demons, to be honest.
Yeah, which honestly scans, because I always think of demons as being closer to humans. Like, both in physicality, but also in behavior. They might represent some of the worst of humanity, but the divine is inhuman.
In every possible way.
Yeah.
Oh, this thing is nasty. I love it. Ugh.
Yeah, what's this called again?
Trench Crusade is one of the things.
Trench Crusade.
Trench Crusade.
Yeah, look up
Yeah,
Trench Crusade.
it's literally
if
a
you are
crusade
fine with
in the
gore.
trenches. Yeah, it's like a World War One kind of like religious crusade kind of deal against
Gotcha.
like literal demons.
Got you.
But like Trench Crusade is one of the things that inspired me for Tower Garden.
Yeah, which understandable. Like
You can say, yeah, you can see where like that influence shines in pretty good with like what I did with the vampires, right?
yeah, like the juice is right fucking there. Yeah. But yes,
Oh boy.
the barbarous races, which can include stuff like basilisks, have a human form, which is usually what they go about in, is a humanoid form.
For
But
obvious reasons, like the world's built for humanoids. You
yeah,
know, chairs are shaped the way they are.
yep. But they have a monstrous form, so a six-legged lizard instead for the basilisk. They are more powerful than regular PCs usually, so they usually come with weaknesses that they have to check against.
Oh, this is a pretty tame demon, honestly. Here you go.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fairly tame.
Still got some religious iconography with the halo,
Yeah, but even
but
then, it's not like that bad. Like, yeah, it also has skulls of thine enemies, but of course you do.
here's another demon.
Uh, though I kind of feel like the most egregious one, a little bit, is the Baba Yaga, because she just has cute witch girl form, and then can also turn into a crone.
I don't know. I think I kind of liked that. I think if I was working on Sword World and I wanted to make the Baba Yaga, this barbarous race, more unique, I would give them three forms: the maiden, the mother, and the crone.
Ooh, yeah, that's the juice right there.
And of course, like this witch girl that you just showed me, that's the maiden.
Yeah, but they don't really depict the monstrous form, at least here. Maybe they do in another supplement. Let me see here. So, Baba
Oh, it's
Yagas are
this.
considered adults at age of 15 and have a
I
lifespan of
want
about
to do
300
studies.
years.
A church crusade. Ah, sorry.
Very valid. Though I will say, don't be a coward. Don't make your braces, even Baba Yaga, gender locked.
Oh, absolutely the fuck not. You should definitely have like I don't know what you would call like a young boy to be equivalent to a maiden, but just the boy, the father of the crone.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
You absolutely should.
yeah. Let's see here. And yeah, there's a few that have different transformations, like the Broken Drake is one that just has horns but can also be a dragon man.
Ember, you shut up. Stop it. Ring. See, this is why I worry. Like when I finally get a VTubing avatar, like my avatar is gonna like bounce and move whenever my cats talk to me.
Yeah. Well, at least a
Right?
PNG
It's just
tuber.
like the hazards of having a fucking cat, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff here, but if I keep talking about this, we'll never get to things. Uh, they do have one thing I will bring up is there are weakling variants of a lot of the barbarous races that are more in line with player characters standard.
Okay, so like their racial abilities are weaker essentially.
Yeah, essentially. And yeah, they're more similar to humans. They have less soul scars, which is why there are also humanoids that are not considered barbarous that can be born with more soul scars. So, slight differences there. But yes, Record of Lodos War, episodes 6 through 8 is what we watched. Which we are seeing the pains of war. And Woodchuck being very honest, like, kid, it might be slightly different when Valis does it, as opposed to Marmo, or Mormo, but not by much.
Pretty sure it's Marmo. But yeah, like he's he's very upfront with the kid about it. It's like, yo,
Yeah,
this isn't gonna like be a war is war, no matter who wages it.
yeah, war knows no innocence. Not really. Like, obviously, like we have rules of conflict now, but in a period like this, there were none. You come in, you sack the place, and it's gonna be nasty. So they do split the party, because they have to get back to King Fawn, because we do get told they got the information they needed, but we get that information in little tidbits as we go, rather than seeing the whole interaction. But they did talk to Wart and also Carla.
Yes, which like Mel and I both thought we had skipped an episode at first.
Yeah, and I had to go back and go like, no, they didn't. They're just going to show that information later. So Arn and Deedlit head out, and also Woodchuck comes along as well. But
Yeah, Woodchuck chases after him.
yeah, but Geem, Eto, and Slane stay behind. We get introduced to a dark elf by the name of Pyrotest, which, yeah, people are going to be fucking thirsty for.
Too late for that. Like, they definitely already are.
Indeed, but like, if you're new to this, you will, and you are into women, you are most likely going to be thirsty for Pyrotest. But yeah, we kind of get to see that not all dark elves are built the same, because we see that Pyrotest and her attendant fellow here don't look quite as monstrous as the one that was throwing knives before.
Yeah. Which he only looked like that when he opened his mouth, so
Yeah,
we don't actually know that from Pyrotest yet.
that's true. Though we've seen her talk at this point. So she's opened her mouth enough that we haven't seen, like, a jagged maw. Same thing with this fellow here that's her attendant. Because basically, one of the guards, or whoever, one of the soldiers hits on them. Hits on
Yeah,
Pyrotest.
the drunk soldier goes for the dark elf, and you know how that turns out.
Yeah, and
I don't need to say because like that's an old trope by now.
yeah, that is an old fucking trope. Though, granted, it's not really the same trope, because it's more her attendant goes, nah, she's like the pinnacle, dude. She's not for you. And he's like, all right, you're calling me inferior? All right, let's fight. And they get into a fucking scuffle, but it is interfered with.
Why? I don't even remember his fucking name anymore. Ashram. There we go.
Yeah. And now we get Arn getting back to the king and relaying some of the information, which is she is a survivor of the kingdom of sorcery that fell 500 years ago. She's been manipulating the politics and history of Lodos that entire time and has stopped seeing herself as human. everybody is a pawn to keep Lodos in a state of constant political equilibrium. Which she believes is a way to keep Lodos safe.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. But I don't think she's exactly in her right mind anymore.
No, she has been a lich for way too long. Uh, we also get to see that Kashu, yeah, does care about the kid, does care about Parn.
Which is actually kind of nice, but it also blindsided me a little bit because
Yeah.
he was not behaving anything like that like last time we saw him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then King Pawn goes, "Hey, become a holy knight. Take on this armor." And Parn's like, I like the gift, but I do prefer my father's sword and armor." He's like, "All right, take the shield. You don't have one of those yet." Which, fair dues. But he still becomes a holy knight, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, I would have taken the upgrade personally because, like, 15-year-old armor, outdated design, outdated metal.
Yeah.
I'm sure Parn took relatively good care of it, but like, come on.
Still. And Wood is, again, being very honest with Parn, like, "Kid, you're gonna be doing soldier things. You're gonna be killing people. How many people are you gonna go through? And are you ready for that?" Because it's fine to go, yeah, he's got, like, King Fawn's got, fair ambitions. He doesn't want to be this fucking spanning conqueror.
Yeah, he wants to unite the continent through like trees and peace and like
Yeah.
all that.
But still, if you go to war for him, you're going to war for him.
Yeah, you're going to war, which they bitched out and didn't have Parn have to struggle with killing a human.
That is also true. I have to wonder if that's depicted in manga form or otherwise.
That's a great question. Hold on a second. Let's MangaDex should have it, right?
Yeah, I would imagine.
MangaDex, come here. Record of Lodos War. If MangaDex doesn't, Pato probably does.
Yeah, and we do see Carla. Carla told Geem that Lelia does not exist anymore. That body is bereft of a mind other than
Interesting.
Carla's.
The manga has a subtitle where the anime does not.
Huh. What is the subtitle?
The Grey Witch.
Huh, interesting.
Which, I mean, that's Carla, so.
Yeah. But yeah, Geem is raring to go after Carla himself. But Slane actually enchants him and puts him to sleep.
Yeah, hits him with that big old sleep bitch spell.
Which, gosh, I wish that was real.
I know, right? Like, hit myself with it.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh man, the art of Record of Lodos Wars manga is very much a product of its time.
Oh dear. You want to hit me with that link?
Yeah, hold on. It's I put it in the same camp as Dororo, where like the author definitely obviously wanted to tell a much darker story, a much more bloody story, but like the conventions of the time had this more cartoony look.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, definitely.
I would love to see what a modern Record of Lodos War would look like a remake of the original story.
Yeah, like a
with
real
like the bigger budget, the larger like runtime, the newer techniques, the greater like variety of like anime culture where like having bloody scenes is not
really a
so
big
looked down
deal.
on
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which honestly we might I mean, we won't get the story of Lodos for, but hopefully we'll get some of that vibe with Grand Crest. At least I hope so.
I think the manga definitely like fleshes Parn out a lot more.
That's
Most of the
good.
characters, it looks like. I'm glad just skimming this to get to the point where we are in the anime. And like there's so many more like side scenes where they're just like literally just talking to each other
Yeah, like we
or
get the
drinking together
yeah,
or
like
eating dinner or whatever.
we literally start with Deedlit instead, which I definitely prefer anime Deedlit to this depiction, at least in the face.
Yeah, the anime is definitely still like a product of its time as well with the shapes of the characters' faces, especially women. But
There's something particularly alien with Deedlit though that I like in the anime.
yeah, I was gonna say like she just regardless, she still looks better in the anime.
Yeah.
You're okay, buddy. Shut the fuck up. No. Nah.
But yeah, so I'll let you look that up while I'm detailing the rest of this episode.
Yes, I figured that's exactly what you were gonna do. You keep going. Talk. Speak ye.
Uh, but yeah, basically, King Vaughn then details exactly what happened to Parn's father and why things happened the way they did.
Man, there's like so much more in this manga too.
That's real good. But basically, King Valus entered a lot of treaties with a bunch of different people, and they came across an issue where the people of this nation were dealing with the fire dragon demon,
The
or the
demon
demon
dragon
dragon
of
of fire.
Red Mountain or something like
Yeah,
that.
which the name
I don't
is
remember the
Shooting
exact quote.
Star. And it is this big demonic fire breathing dragon. And citing the defense treaty, they say, give me your daughter as a sacrifice to quell this beast, because you can't seem to deal with them any other way. And King Valus couldn't bring himself to break the treaty. But somebody did have that within him, which is Parn's father, who goes, yeah, I'll bring the kid back, and it'll just be one person in your ranks who turned bad. But that does mean you do have to banish me. And he did it. He brought the kid back.
And then went and retired to Parn's village.
Yeah.
And somehow died at some point. I don't
Yeah,
know.
which, fair enough. People age. Sometimes people have disease.
Man, Slane looks so weird in this art style too.
Oh dear.
Like he already looks weird in the anime, but like fuck, dude.
Yeah. But we find out the dragon's name that we've been seeing is named Nars. And it's
I
probably the
forgot what I'm even looking for in this manga.
if Parn actually has to struggle with killing a man.
Right, yes. Thank you.
They're led into so Kashu's group gets led into a trap of sorts, more of that mysterious fog, and having monsters thrown at him. And they get ready for battle, along with King Fawn getting ready for battle. And that's where episode 6 ends. Episode 7 is where we see a soldier that looks at a brooch or something, or pendant, and is absolutely gonna die. Like, that's some red flags right there.
Huh. Parn is taller than Deedlit in the manga.
Nah, I don't like
Yeah,
that.
nah. Don't like that at all.
Like,
There's probably like judging by like how elves are and what little I've seen of Sword World, that seems like a concession for the manga to get published.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. I'm glad that we are in a world where Square Enix is publishing Murcielago.
Yeah, that's true. Because that one is pretty fucking bloody.
It's real bloody. It is gay as fuck.
It honestly, like, the Final Fantasy manga, that I can't remember its name, it also wasn't shy about the death and the blood either.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, fucking, Haruko is, a 6'4" lesbian. Like, she is taller than almost every man she will ever encounter.
Yeah, I mean, she's Japanese and she's 6'4". Like, holy shit, woman.
Yeah.
You're enormous. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, you're enormous for almost every country on the planet anyway, but like, especially Japan. Fuck me, dude. Quite literally head and shoulders above most people in the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. And literally just goes on a dating site, seduces a woman, and has sex with her on screen.
Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, very
No!
different world.
I will pour my water cup on you, cat. All right, you asked for it. Yeah, that's what I fucking thought, idiot.
We see Eto worrying about
Sorry.
Karn.
Sorry, my cat was just like stood by my desk, yelling at me and staring at me, trying to get me to feed him early. So I just sort of tilted my cup over his face. I mean, my chair mat's a little wet now, but I don't give a shit. That was very funny.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, first off, Karn's group gets fucking cornered by the Marmo group. Eto kind of sees this, or at least sees the moving soldiers, and Slane tells him, yeah, go ahead, go do him.
I think this is one time where I really want to read the novels that this stuff came from. The novelization, I mean. Because any publication or adaptation of the Record of Lodos War, because it is from the late 80s and early 90s, is going to have like a lot of concessions made by the publisher, or forced onto the author by the publisher.
Yeah, unfortunately, given
not just the art style, but like also things that happen. Like I can't even actually know for sure if Carla kidnaps someone or not while reading this manga, because like you need a damsel story in the older fantasy stuff, right? So is that real? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, publishers had way more control than they should.
I mean, they still do, but like mostly because like back then people still didn't understand that fantasy was something that like could tell real stories,
Yeah.
right?
Well, they exerted
It's
more
like
control, I should put it that way.
because like I still don't know about that because like a lot of things often change in the process from novel to adaptation because of publishers.
Fair, but I do.
Get the
Well,
fuck out of here, Ember.
there were definitely more restrictions in the Hayes Code era.
Definitely true, and we still like endure some of that today,
Yeah.
despite it like the Hayes Code being gone for like I don't know, like 50 years or whatever.
Yep. And then we have King Fawn calling out to Beld to show his fucking face. Which was a little weird in that there was no sounds of scuffling as he's calling out to Beld.
Yeah, like no sounds of fighting, no sounds of scuffling, not even fucking wind blowing, just like Fawn's voice fucking echoing.
And they do duke it out together. Wart does also give Parn the premonition, get that fucking circlet off of Carla's head. That is what is the real her.
Yeah, that's actually where I'm at in the manga right now. His Wart is telling them is like, yeah, the circlet's the source of her power. That's actually her like her vessel. That's her real self.
Yeah. Yeah. Fawn and Beld fight it out. And they do one last blow against each other, which King Fawn just barely loses out on. Beld is able to hobble away, only to be pierced from the heavens by some sort of spear, and then immediately electrocuted as well.
Yep, just like this massive sphere comes like flying down, pierces straight through that thick ass breastplate he's got on, through his back, the back part of the breastplate, and into the ground, and just like props him up there.
Yep, and then
It's a fucking brutal death.
yeah, and then while
I
he's
love
propped
it.
up, a lightning bolt fucking hits the spear, and
Hey kids, you want to see a dead body?
he is fucking toast.
Extra crispy,
Yeah,
just how I like it.
and then yeah, his guard captain picks up the sword.
You know, I hit this on every now and then whenever I say something fucked up on stream, but like I don't think I've voiced it very often yet, but like I would make a really good villain.
A little bit, a little bit.
All I need is for someone to like write me as if I were saying my joke seriously, and boom, there you go. You've got one of the most evil motherfuckers to ever grace like storytelling.
Yeah, and then the fucking vizier uses the bloody battle to awaken the elemental dragons.
Yeah. I think he believes that the black dragon we saw, which Emperor Beld calls Nars, is Cardus, one of the gods.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think the sorcerer guy is like quite in his right mind either, but more due to magical influence than like simple time and trauma.
Granted, I mean, maybe he thinks Carla is not necessarily.
Maybe I don't know.
But either
Like the anime is not exactly clear on that point when he's talking.
yeah.
Because we did see, I think it was like episode 3 or 4, where like he was talking to what he thought was Cardus, one of the gods, and it kept cutting back to Nars in the cave.
Yeah, my only thinking with that is rather than indicating it was Nars doing that, rather saying the Vizier and Nars are both being called by that voice.
Could be, yeah. There's a lot of possibilities there, specifically because like it's not very clear.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. In the manga, during the battle, King Kashu actually still wears his headdress.
Excellent.
That's kind of nice. I
Yeah, that is kind of
was wondering
nice.
why he fucking took it off the entire time.
Uh, but yeah, we start episode 8 with Slane and Geem talking, and he's like, I've got to go. And if you try and stop me from trying to get Lelia back, I will actually raise my axe to you. And then we actually get introduced to a couple of new heroes. I wonder if they will join the party or not later.
Potentially, could be. I don't know. I don't know.
Because we have one warrior gal here, and what we come to find out is a fucking berserker.
Which I called that shit immediately. Like as soon as I saw his eyes doing the thing, I was like, oh, the Berserker Merc. Cool.
Yeah, and they get the wrong idea because Parn and company are riding out towards the village.
And
preparing for
apparently,
party.
this girl that I don't remember her name can't tell the difference between an elf and a dark elf. So,
Which,
to be fair, like it would be pretty difficult to tell, like especially because like we saw a dark elf earlier in the camp, the attendant of Puritas, like he just has pale skin and light hair.
yeah,
He doesn't
like,
actually like look like a dark elf. He doesn't have dark skin or anything.
yeah, absolutely.
He's more like my definition of a dark elf, where there's just like dark in culture.
Yeah, dark in
You know?
culture, not in appearance.
Yeah, because like my grieving elves and Well of Souls look like that guy.
Yeah,
That's what
absolutely.
they look like. Some of them look like Puritas or the other dark elves, but like that's kind of rare. It's like it's their version of a changeling elf, which is you know how like some fiction, especially Japanese fiction, will like go with like high orcs or high goblins or high humans or whatever, and like actually make like high elves and all that like separate species to their like non-high version.
Yeah,
That's actually what I also did for Well of Souls, like the Children of the Sky, the Spirit Walkers of the Knolls, and so on and so forth. The Changeling Elves, they are the high in quotes version, but
gotcha.
they're just born at random. They're born whenever the mother has the right amount of mana in the area around her. It's basically like a mutation.
Gotcha,
But
gotcha.
two of them getting together will give birth to one of them.
Yeah,
But one will give birth to just a normal version of that species.
gotcha. Yeah, she can't tell the difference between a elf and a dark elf. And they emphasize, dude, we got a priest here. You know,
Okay, that's a really big difference. In the manga, Carla does not kill Emperor Beld.
oh, that is a huge fucking difference. Maybe he dies in a similar fashion
King
later.
Kashu does. There we go.
Ah,
I was trying to see who was holding the sword. It's King Kashu.
got you.
Right in the neck.
Interesting. I actually like the Carla killing him more.
So do I. Like, I wonder which one is the more accurate to the original like story
Yeah,
that
yeah. How did
the
that
writer made
actually
with his
play out?
buddies.
But either way, they get the woman fighter there, like pointed a sword at her, basically doing the exact same thing the berserker's doing. But the berserker's like,
Oh,
oh
someone
hell
does
no.
like shoot him with an arrow. Someone does shoot him with an arrow before King Kashu gets to him. But we don't see the archer.
Gotcha.
Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do. It was Carla. She was holding a crossbow and she just tossed it to the
Oh,
side.
okay then.
Okay, so she does contribute to his death anyway.
Okay.
I guess the fucking like the bolts from the crossbow became a giant spear
Fair enough.
in that version, which is more dramatic.
Yeah, I liked it more dramatic. Spear and then fucking electrocute you. Okay. But yeah, they're
It doesn't
trying
look
to.
like Arn kills any humans on Marmo's side during this. It's every time I see him killing something, it's one of the monster soldiers.
Gotcha. But yeah, basically,
But to be
Parn
honest, I
tried.
haven't actually like seen many human soldiers on Marmo's side in this either, so I don't even know if
Yeah,
they have any.
yeah. Parn tries to talk the woman down and seems to be doing a good job of it. But the issue is, Berserker goes berserk. She's like, "Hey, don't kill him. I'll do everything else you need me to do, but do not kill my friend." And she does block his hits and everything and calms him down. But
Okay, there's some Marmo soldiers, but doesn't look like
yeah, I mean, we do have the
Arn
one.
kills any.
Yeah, we do have the one human soldier, because literally the one that was hitting on Pirates.
Yeah, I'm just looking like to see what's shown on screen in quotes. Every time I see Parn's sword cut someone down, though, it's a monster soldier.
Okay, so maybe they'll call him out on that later. Won't worry too much
Maybe.
about that right now. But yeah, they calm down Berserker, and it's like, yeah, we should probably fucking leave. They are Berserkers are possessed by Huri, the spirit of rage and madness, having lost their fear of death.
Oh, what's interesting here as well is that Fawn does strike Marmo on the shoulder, on his shoulder guard between his gorget and the shoulder plate, but it doesn't pierce through the armor. Armor
Okay,
actually works in the manga. What it seems like is that Emperor Build thrust his blade through a gap in the armor, and
gotcha,
Fawn's sword hit the plates.
gotcha. And
It's also the other shoulder. It's the opposite shoulder than what he cut in the anime.
yeah, so Geem goes in alone and is like, "Hey, wake up, Lelia." And Carla again is like, "Nah, she's dead, boo. She's dead, dude." And fucking knocks him around. He tries to offer up his own body, but she doesn't want a dwarf body. Or she doesn't want his dwarf body, anyway.
No, in the manga, Wood does not participate in the battle because he's got back alley weapons. Makes
Fair.
sense.
Because, yeah,
Like after the battle,
Captain's
like he
commentating.
approaches them and is just like, "Hey, I couldn't help you in the battle, but I'll help you one day."
Yeah, yeah. Which, fair enough, that, like, his job is to deal with, like, at most, like, people, scouts and stuff coming from the back end kind of deal.
Yeah, like he's a rogue, right? Like he doesn't have like a pavis and a shield, or a shield and a lance or a pike or anything. He's got knives. He's the dude that like pins someone up against the wall in the back alley of a fucking castle and shivs him in the gut 16 times. Like that's him. That's what rogues are supposed to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know going into like a real battlefield is all dramatic for your stories and everything, but rogues would get fucking plastered there. All right.
Yeah, it's true enough. But everybody shows up to the battle against Carla and backup team, where Carla tells Parn her motivations, which is to manipulate and use basically her manipulation of history to keep a constant equilibrium. You cannot have power consolidate in one place, is her assertion. Which I can
Which is
understand.
like
Like, I can understand that trauma giving somebody that perception, and then never learning the lesson of no, there's other ways we can do this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I agree with that general idea, but also you don't need to kill a whole lot of people for it.
Yeah, like you could have agreements among people and have them all be sovereign peoples.
Yeah, or like you can encourage everyone to go for like a diplomatic or not diplomatic, democratic or
Yeah,
republic
democratic,
kind
yeah.
of idea.
And she basically tells Farn, here, throw off your old armor, take up a new mantle. But Parn sees the image of his father and goes, nah, we're not your pawns. And it's a lot of effort to get that circlet off of her. Lane has a barrier, but Deem goes beyond the barrier and goes up to Carla to beseech Lelia one more time to remember herself. And even shows her
Fighting
a
his way through like a literal like
wave of magic.
waterfall of magic.
And shows her a gift or something that she wore in the past. And it
No, he was actually carving it.
Oh, that's
He
right.
was carving it before.
Right, he was
Because like Slane actually commented on it. It was like, "Hey, is that for Lelia? Shouldn't you like get something fancier for her then?" And he was like, "Hey, you haven't seen Lelia. All you've seen so far is Carla. All right." Which, like, yeah, fair.
And finally, Geem, everybody's able to attack because her magic halts briefly. And everybody goes after her, and Geem is the one to throw his axe and hit the circlet head on. Knocks it the fuck
Which
off.
very dramatic, but that would severely injure Lelia as well.
Absolutely. And also, unfortunately, Woodchuck is the one who sees the circlet after that, and unfortunately,
Yeah, and you could tell that he's like, "Oh fuck, no, please, no," the entire time as it's rising out of the water at him.
yeah. And yeah, Lelia is saved, but Geem is dead. And at the very
And
end,
Woodchuck is being taken for a joyride by a vengeful spirit.
yeah, we see him walking off with the circlet on. And that's where we end that episode. Yeah,
Yep,
again,
saddest possible days.
yeah, again, real fucking fascinated. We've only got 2 more sessions of this left.
I think there's a second season,
Nope.
though. I thought there was. Could have sworn I saw one.
Yeah, like let me check the other anime site we were looking at.
Maybe it counted Chronicles of the Heroic Knight as the second
Maybe.
season. Because it does still feature Parn, apparently.
That might be what it did, because it's definitely just the 13 episode OVA. Even looking at.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It counts Chronicles of the Heroic Knight as the second season there.
Gotcha. Because, yeah, looking on a Crunchyroll even.
Oh my god, it was published. It aired 8 years after the original Lodos War.
Wow.
Let's see. Chronicles of the Heroic Knight.
Yeah, that's
It's a remake slash sequel to the Record of Lodoss War OAV series. Interesting. Pardon?
yeah, this is 5 years after the Emperor Marmo was defeated. We won't look too much into that because
I'm actually looking at it now. Not it, but I'm looking at like reviews and shit of it, and it says that like the first 8 episodes are pretty good and have a decent stopping point, but then like episode 9 just does not live up to that at all.
9 onwards, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of what I heard as well.
Like I'm seeing that it's good for like world building and lore, but not so much the story or the animation quality or anything like that.
Yeah. And I decided to just look at the first episode without reading anything, and yeah, the animation quality kind of dips.
Which is shocking to me because Record of Lodoss War, the original, is from 8 years prior and also sucks ass in terms of animation.
Yeah, but the magic
So,
is
like,
usually
if Chronicles of the
animated pretty
Hero,
lovingly.
so if like Chronicles of the Heroic Knight is even worse, like, am I gonna bleed from my eyeballs when I open this up? Is it going to kill me?
Yeah, but yeah, I'll be very interested to check out Grand Crest as kind of the successor to that, rather.
Like the OP is, it's not well animated, I would say, because it's mostly still, but like it's done in that sort of like artsy way where like the grass and the hair of the horse and his hair like flow in the wind, but everything else is still, which I
Yeah.
like, but like
Yeah.
it's not looking good.
Yeah, unfortunately. So,
There's a lot of still panning images with lips flapping here.
yeah, that's the impression I got.
There's zero movement on this in this one, and it's literally just like the only movement is Astrum's mouth and the god rays coming from the window shifting back and forth.
Oof.
That's it.
Big oops.
That's so bad. Oh no, we got a slideshow, clip art, studio transitions. No,
that's painful.
no.
That's painful.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's so much worse than I even expected.
yeah, so as you folks can probably guess, we're not doing that one.
I mean, I'll probably watch it on my own just to get the lore, unless I can find like a breakdown of the revealed world building. But
Yeah.
fuck,
Yeah,
I ain't doing that for. Look, I like you. I like you. I don't like you that much.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to
That's
watch this.
that's what I was about to say. Is we like you, audience. We don't like you that much.
Ow, ow, my soul, the blackened place where I hold that.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Much unfortunate. Yeah, I'm deeply interested in what we see more of this, and yeah, I've been very much enjoying Sword World as well. So I imagine some of this world building is going to make its way through. And some of the supplemental materials also include like Q&A with the writers.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Cat, I'm going to throw you into the sun. I don't care that it's almost midnight. I will throw you through the earth into the sun on the other side. So he flops over and knocks over some of my T10s. Thanks, buddy. I love you
Oh,
too.
I actually, going back to the Baba Yaga, pulling up the actual full page for her. I kind of like her quote as a Baba Yaga priest, which is, beseeching the divine is not folly, yet salvation is a prize you must claim for your own soul.
I like that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, whoever the fuck translated the subtitle for this particular chunk of adaptation, they need to go back and like go back to school. Like you need to like relearn the language. So this one is the record of Lodos War, and the subtitle is in Japanese Ferris no Seijo. And you and I were literally just talking about this yesterday, but Seijo means saintess.
Yeah.
Literally, like you separate the word into the two chunks there, Sei and Jo. That's holy maiden, like
Yeah.
that's spirit woman, yeah, spirit girl sort of thing.
And
Like,
how
right?
did
That's
they translate it?
Lady of Ferris.
Ah.
That's a noble title, motherfucker, not a religious one.
Yeah.
If you had called her the high priestess, I would have been fine with that too. But like, lady, really? Come on. This series was published Western style, reading left to right in both Japan and the West. Huh.
Huh.
I did notice that with the actual record of Lodos War. It is left to right,
Interesting.
which like threw me off pretty hard.
Yeah, that would throw me off. Because I'm like, this is a Japanese property. The Japanese writer.
Yeah, like and I can
so
tell.
I can fucking tell.
My eyes may be awful, but they're not that awful, not yet. I wonder if it's actually written by the same guy though. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Author Mizuno Ryo. So yeah, this Lady of Ferris one is also written by the original DM, which I like. That means I will read it because I don't think this has been adapted.
And yeah, so I'm showing Kat like the Baba Yaga with that nice quote, and then a centaur warrior.
He needs armor on her other tit more.
That's the party tit.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason why I said that is because this woman has a vitals protector over her left breast, but not her right one. But she's got a shield in her left hand, which means she would actually want that on her right side because she can't cover that as easily with her shield.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I know it looks cool when the shield side is more heavily armored because you face that towards the enemy, but that's the opposite of what you actually want.
Yep.
Notice, like on Roman gladiators, the Galeris is on the other arm, or is just used in place of a shield in the case that it's on the left side. Because you want the heavier armor on the side that is not protected by a shield. Which, yes, you can still protect your right side with a shield when in your left hand, but it's kind of hard to twist that way. Technically possible, functionally something that you wouldn't really do.
Yeah, also, the kobolds are not what I would call barbarous in this.
Let me see. Is it like the puppy dog look that sometimes they have? Yes. In fact, it is. It is exactly what it is.
It is incredibly puppy, too. It's not even just like, oh yeah, we're doing hyenas. No, this is puppy.
I have seen some anime and manga actually like literally make them like shit like pugs.
Oh my
and
god.
it just like I see where they came from with the older depictions of Japanese kobolds, with them being like wolf or hyena like.
But still.
It hurts me in my soul.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, we get more details in that on for each of the races, more about their culture, their place in society, and characteristics. Again, not a lot of art, but that's to be expected
I
because paying artists is.
wonder if the light novels of Record of Lodoss War have more non-human, non-traditional human type characters in them. You know, like more kobolds, more goblins, that kind of thing. Maybe some orcs, maybe some kobolds, maybe some grass runners, because all we've seen so far that like actually speak are humans, elves, and dwarves, at
Oh,
least in
we
the anime.
actually do have a high human. It's the Newman.
I wonder if that's where it came from. In fucking Lodoss War.
Quite possibly.
Let me see this. The Newman. It's created by the magical evolution of humans during the ancient magic civilization. They have a high aptitude for magic. This poor girl. The example they chose of the Newman is some girl and she's twisted. Like, does she have fucking, or is that the fluorite? I can't tell.
Yeah, no, that's the Newman. The fluorite is the top one.
Okay, like this poor girl. Look at that spine. Does she have scoliosis?
Or actually,
No,
no, you might be right.
I'm pretty
No,
yeah,
the
I'm pretty
new.
sure that's the fluorite because like her legs are see through like
Yeah,
quartz.
no, yeah, you're definitely right, and they do have arrows. I noticed. So it's the
Do they
fluorite who's
have?
like that,
Oh
which
yeah, they do. Okay.
still, this poor girl. They are living Mako stones.
Whatever the fuck Mako is it the same definition as in Final Fantasy VII?
I
Ah!
I don't know, but she is. At least she's not made out of flesh.
What the fuck is a Mako? Okay, so it's just a mana stone.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
just because. Oh, I see what it is. Maho crystal, right? Or magic crystal.
gotcha.
Mako.
Yeah, gotcha.
I
Gotcha,
see where it
gotcha,
came from.
gotcha. So yeah, and then we've got
Hey, this
Mistborns and
this
Spriggans.
Abyssborn is cute. I like this Abyssborn girl.
Yeah. I mean, she's velvet with more
Women.
clothes.
Women.
I mean,
Do you
yes,
understand?
women. And also she's velvet with more clothes, so of course you like her.
Yeah, that's fair.
Spriggans pretty good too. That they have
Oh,
a
she's not wearing high heels. Oh my god, thank you.
that is true.
I can tell by the way that is. Those are walking boots.
Yeah. Looks like the only
Actually,
one.
walking boots with a pretty low heel too.
Yeah. Looks like the only
That's more
one
like
in
boots that
this
you'd find in the
art
modern
that's
day.
wearing heels of even a considerable size, which I'm going to link this to you now, is the
Yeah, please do.
Shadow.
Let me see. Open link so I can zoom in. Shadow, where are you?
Over to the right.
Oh, those are like between walking and riding boots. Those are fine.
Oh, okay.
I would say that's probably like a riding boot. Honestly, looking at it, I can't really zoom in very far, but I think that heel's probably only like an inch or so.
Yeah, that's about right.
No, it's in centimeters. Okay. Shadow. I don't see the height on the list. Where are you? Oh, the height chart cuts off.
Oh, hold on. Oh,
Which book is this?
this is Arcane Relic.
Arcane Relic. Okay.
Hold on. I'll get you the second half.
Oh, I gotta unzip this fucking thing anyway. So
Yeah. So I got you the second half here. Which shadows are
roughly
180
my height.
centimeters, or
A
between,
little bit taller than me, but roughly.
yeah.
So yeah, that heel is probably about an inch or so, maybe an inch and a half at most.
Yeah. Also
So yeah, that's definitely like a riding boot.
also a better looking fluorite on that hat.
Let's see. Oh yeah, that is much better looking. At least like his spine isn't twisted into the just honestly strangest shape I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they have elves and elves.
Yeah, let me look and see what the fucking elf is in comparison.
Because alv sounds very similar to the German word for elf, which is alb. Or at least it's the older German word for elf. I don't know if that's still in use today. I don't speak German.
Okay, so elves can extract mana from anyone they touch. A process they must perform at least once a week. So,
Now she has stilettos on. That alv.
yeah, that elf. Yeah, that elf actually
Yeah,
has
she is
heels.
much shorter, and she like those heels are much thinner and taller.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
think the Newman woman that we see there has heels on as well, but she also looks like she's wearing courtly gear, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it
Like she's
doesn't
wearing like
matter
a
as
courtly
much.
outfit of some kind, like a woman's outfit. Now, this weakling basilisk, however, is also wearing high heels, but she also doesn't have armor on or a weapon on her hip. So fine, you wear a heel, wear heels in town. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm not gonna complain about that. Like, if you want to wear heels when you're just walking around town, you do that. It's gonna hurt your feet, but whatever. Your problem, not mine.
Yeah, but basically they have to extract 1 mana point from somebody once a week.
Mm. This weakling Tanhoz looks like she might have heels on as well, but again, I can't really zoom in very far.
Yeah. You might. It's hard to tell with that angle. Anyway.
Yeah, the shape of the foot is just like giving me the feeling. Would you say it was? Is it under core? No.
It is
Supplements
under,
probably.
let's see, it is under supplements rulebooks.
Rulebooks. And then Arcane Relic, you said, yes?
Yes.
Ember! Cease! I know, it's almost time, my son.
Almost. Well, actually, it is exactly time, isn't it?
Not yet. Now it is. Can you just remind me later? Thank you. Yeah, this image size is not big enough for me to zoom in very far. Uh,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure those are heels. I think
Yeah, more than likely.
because like compare her heel, like the shape of her ankle and lower leg right there, to the Newman woman. It's about the same shape, so I'm pretty sure that girl has heels on as well. But I don't know if that's a ceremonial outfit or a warrior's outfit. So
Yeah, and also just for the fluorite, like, that's just bad from like a glass sculpture perspective. That's gonna snap in the
what
middle.
about the fluorite?
Well, from a glass sculpture perspective, if you think of her like a mana stone or mana glass sculpture.
Oh, the close up one that you sent me. Yeah, she's gonna fall apart. Also, I actually really like the depiction of dwarves here. This dark dwarf is like that's honestly like a great design.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the woman
It
there
looks
in that one.
more like a hobbit slash grass runner, but there's nothing saying a dwarf has to be burly.
Yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
the popular idea of dwarves is that they are. Because thanks, Tolkien.
Yeah, thanks, Tolkien.
Like I appreciate your work, buddy. Don't get me wrong, but like,
Also,
yeah.
yeah, Abyssborn are mutants born in the shallow abyss. only confirmed cases are humans, but that doesn't mean there can't be.
Now, are the Newman actually high humans, or are they more like just mutants? Do they
Let's
still
see.
have like all the good things about humans and then just extra magic on top, or
Let's
what's
see
going
here.
on?
Well, you could actually look in the bookmarks for Newman and go to Newman if you like to read it as well. But let me
Yeah,
check.
I haven't gone to the index yet. There we are.
No, they have new.
Completely different stat blocks.
Yeah, at least they have at least slightly new stat blocks. Like their racial abilities are not humans and then more. It's their own thing.
Okay, so that sounds more like just a variant human than it is like
Yeah.
a high human.
Yeah, but they were created during ancient magic civilization era, so the same era that Carla comes from, essentially, in an attempt to evolve humans using magic. So they have brilliant minds and high magic power.
Okay, I'm looking at this Soleil
Uh huh.
art of this character, and this axe is fucking colossal.
Yeah, that is a huge fucking axe, which honestly I'm in love with for this kind of setting.
Like that goes so far into the enormous axe territory that is not even like a fantasy complaint, like realism complaint. That's just that axe is sized for someone like 3 times her size.
Yeah,
Genuinely, the thing's fucking huge.
yeah,
Like even the
absolutely.
haft is enormous.
Yeah, like that's beyond just, the fantasy, oh, axes are humongous. This is like, no, even in most games, she would not be carrying that.
Like in AWRPG, we do have rules for people using oversized weapons and everything. Like I would put this at like size +3 or something like that, which means it's meant to be wielded by someone that's like 15 feet tall.
Also, we get a few variants for a lot of these. So we get snow elves and mist elves, for example. They're in the rare elven species right under weaklings. Oh, there are large herbivore lycants. Nice.
Yeah, I did see that
Excuse me.
because that was on the page next to the dark dwarf that I was looking at.
Mm-hmm. We got large herbivore lycants.
I wonder if elves in this setting just have big feet. Because I'm looking at this rare elven species header and like looking at the swordswoman. She just has really long toes
She
in her boots.
does.
I wonder if like I wonder if that's like a cultural fashion thing because the pointed boots that do curl up like that are like a thing in real life. I don't remember when they were popular, but they did exist.
Uh,
And you can actually see some of that influence on sabatons from the time period. I think it's like 15 or 1600, something like that. But anyway, like, so I'm wondering, like, is that a fashion thing, or do like elves in this setting just have really big feet? I hope they just have really big feet. That would be hilarious.
that would be kind of amazing. We get two different variants of a lot of these, but I like that there's two variant rune folk, one guardian type and one combat type.
Oh no! Oh no! I found an art mistake.
Oh dear.
There's who the fuck is this? I think it's Soleil's, but there's a dude archer, and like I like that his arrows are really big and his bow is really big, but he's standing between the haft of the bow and the string.
Oh yeah, yeah, I see
He's
that.
standing inside the bow.
Yeah.
And like he's got his hand drawn back like he's half knocked it, but the string is behind him.
Yeah, oopsie. Eh, it can happen, but oof.
Honestly, I kind of like finding those things. Like that's not an actual genuine complaint. That's just like kind of funny.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny. Things happen. But yeah, we have combat and guardian type rune folk.
The same happen. Okay, maybe it's not a mistake. Maybe they're just fading the string out so you can see the detailing on the clothing.
Oh.
Because the same thing is happening on the fluorite archer here,
Okay, yeah, then maybe it is just.
which I actually didn't notice on the original thing that you showed me. But yeah, it's happening in the colored version as well.
Oh yeah, if you look real close, you can actually see the fade out of the string.
Yeah, at least on the fluorite archer. Yeah.
Yeah, on the fluorite
And
archer.
I think yes, I could see a little bit of the fade out here on the Soleil as well.
Okay, so not a mistake, just looked real
Good.
funny.
Yeah. Good. Because that is honestly just such an amateur mistake that I can see it happening to a professional artist as well, and I've definitely seen it happening to professional artists, but usually when they're under a tight deadline. So like when stuff like that happens, I of course I find it funny, but also I start asking questions about like the conditions the artists were working under, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because where I normally see that kind of thing is in Korean comics, where like they're forced to make like basically a weekly colored entire fucking chapter of a manga every week.
Yeah.
So you see that a lot in manhwa, which sucks.
Yeah.
It's just like a symptom of like how awfully they're treated.
Oh, nice. We got hairy little dragons.
So runefolk are
Manufactured individuals.
okay, yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Like they're basically like magical automatons.
Yeah, they are magical automatons. So
I like that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the way these look, because they do look fit for purpose. Oh, and they actually have them sleeping in a fucking generator.
Yeah, that's why I was asking because I saw that and I was like, hold on. Oh right, they're the automatons. That's right. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then we get the rare nightmare species, which are Shadowborn ones and Soleilborn ones. Because nightmares are babies born with more scars, more soul scars.
I actually like the designs of the shadows that I see here.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually quite good. They're sort of androgynous, even I might call them to an extent.
Yeah, I could see
but
that.
I think I like that a lot.
Yeah. We've got Leisha grass runners. They are daredevils and explorers. And then what are the Kremenos? Quiet, unassuming natures. Gotcha.
I don't know if I like the grass burner designs because they sort of scream like child to me with their big heads.
Yeah, a little bit. I kind of like the doctor looking one, but
Yeah, but definitely not the one beside the doctor.
yeah, which she looks like maybe a dungeon runner kind of thing, at least with those keys.
Yeah.
I do like the Maria subspecies. We got carnivorous and fungi. And these are the plant people, so you've got carnivorous and fungi. Oh, I love the picture towards the bottom where it's Soleil Village and adventurers living on the continent of a flame. And we've got a Maori-looking gentleman.
Yeah, I did see that. I didn't stop to look at it, but yeah, we also see a Maori looking woman behind the adventurer as well.
Okay, so
That's nice. I like that. As long as the tattoos don't mean something fucked up. But
yeah, which I doubt. Probably they're based on it, but probably have to do with the fantasy setting if I had to guess.
yeah,
As long as it's not appropriative, absolutely cool. Because yeah,
I just realized mist elves. God damn it! I was considering putting mist elves in Well of Souls. It probably wouldn't be like quite the same, but
yeah,
upsetting.
yeah. They reside near springs and streams. Close connection in
I would have put
nature.
them in a cloud forest, actually. Which, for those of you who don't know, cloud forests are like temperate rainforests at a high altitude, so they seem to be covered in mist all the time, or clouds at ground level. So hence the name cloud forest.
Yeah, and then the mist elves can create a mist to beguile their enemies. And what do snow elves
There
do?
are a lot of different contributing artists here. I'm seeing so many different names when I'm scrolling through and looking at the art here.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, to be honest.
Yeah, if I have someone else help me with the art for the Codex Astra, I am definitely going to do something like this
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I think this is way better than having it stuck in the glossary,
Yeah,
where you have to like
absolutely.
constantly
Put it
reference
just
back
put
and
it
forth.
right on the art or right under the art. Either way. Oh yeah, and then you never saw the leprechauns before now.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the design, but it's just because like I have strong feelings about how like Celtic and Norse stuff are depicted.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yes, my son. I know. Come on. I know. I got distracted looking at the pretty anime pictures, didn't I?
But yeah, we have very much enjoyed both Record of Lodoss War and To Be Hero X. I'm really curious where we're going with this. Uh, I have to imagine what we'll get with To Be Hero X is episode 4 is going to be dealing with uh, God Eye and Linling either doubling down on the deception or actually coming clean to some extent, but dealing with the fact, oh, I've been depowered. Fuck. But God Eye's powers aren't actually that impressive either. I might be able to do something. And Linling earning that power back again, essentially, by dealing with God Eye even without his abilities. Um, but either way, deal with God Eye. Then the episode after that, episode 5, will finally introduce us a little bit more to maybe that possibility of competition.
Yeah, it sounds about like a right, like, or at least a fairly accurate prediction to me.
Yeah,
That seems what likely to me as well.
yeah, that seems to be the right cadence for what they're doing here.
Okay, so things I'm keeping an eye on because there's been updates to this list since the last time we streamed. I don't think I talked about Apocalypse Hotel last time very much.
No, you did
But to be
not.
fair, with Apocalypse Hotel, I can't really sell you on it without spoiling it.
Yeah, all we can really say
All I
is
can really
there's
tell
a
is like read out the fucking like
yeah.
the blurb for you, which is essentially that like humans have left Earth, but there's a hotel in Tokyo, or yeah, in Ginza, Tokyo, that continues to operate. staffed by what seems to be sapient machines. And like it's about that. It's about that hotel.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I cannot sell you any more on it. Like maybe if I had time to write a script for it, I could come up with something. But no, that's it. That's all I got. Sorry. It's sci-fi. It's interesting. I like it. If my recommendation is enough to get you to watch it, then you absolutely should.
Yeah, absolutely. I am going to be interested in Claire Obscure, edition 33.
I don't think I've heard of it yet.
You have, but it's been a while because we saw the trailer for it, which it seems to be a fantasy, but with guns related to
Spell it.
Uh,
Spell it so I can look it up.
name Claire, Clair, Obscure, Obscur. Because you and I were getting psychic damage over the fact that they used Paintress instead of Painter.
Oh yeah. I remember the psychic damage, but not the game.
Yeah, it is actually very like it's French fantasy, but it's also got some of
every
the
year a godlike figure they call the paintress.
yeah.
Look, I know grammatically, at least like 300 or 400 years ago, painter would be considered a masculine word, but it's fucking not anymore. Stop.
Yeah, stop it. Yeah, we've got
Just
a group
stop.
of people trying to stop it in this fantasy world that honestly feels a little Final Fantasy-esque, at least in how the party's composed. There's some interesting shit
I'm
here.
interested, but I don't know if I could actually play it because, like, this paintress seems to be a large part of the story.
Yep,
and that makes me want to explode.
She is the main villain, more than likely, or at least the main villain that we know of. They might do a come from behind. You know, oh, this was the real villain all along. But I don't know, because the game's not out yet. It's going to be out tomorrow. I'm not going to play it tomorrow.
Pain.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I get you. I get you.
Just revived all of that agony.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Just unfortunate.
Fuck's sake. Damn it. My heart.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I'm hoping it's good, because I was a little disappointed by Avowed, just watching other people play it. So I want a fantasy game to be doing well.
Oh, yeah. I like the setting of Avowed and Pillars of Eternity, but Avowed itself does not seem like a great game.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
And honestly, I don't think I can really trust Obsidian to make great games anymore. Yeah. Genuinely. And that sucks to say because some of my favorite RPGs are by them.
Yeah, like
Tyranny is one of my absolute favorite things of all time, but the reason why it feels unfinished is because it fucking is. Yeah. They took money from Paradox to make a different game and spent it on this thing instead.
Yep.
Like, it's not...
Yeah, like there's not much more.
Don't get me wrong, I don't like publishers or like even Paradox's. Paradox is on the same level as like Bethesda to me, whereas like they're not fundamentally evil like Ubisoft or Blizzard or anything like that.
But
they just don't have great business practices.
Yeah, no,
and I can't support that shit.
Yeah, no, their business practices are incredibly extractionary.
So yeah, like I don't like Paradox, but also when you agree to make a specific thing in exchange for money, do that.
Yeah, seriously.
And then sell the person on like this other thing that you also want to make later after you've proven that you can do the thing and make it good.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that was no bueno.
It just come on, Obsidian. Like I want to trust you guys, but you can't. You haven't been making good shit for years now, and it sucks.
Yeah, it really sucks. I was hoping that this would be what puts the fire under Bethesda by actually making a decent fantasy, like, open world RPG, but that's not even what it is.
Yeah.
Actually, quite a linear world.
Guys, I think it actually has been since Tyranny that I haven't been able to trust it. It's 9 years now.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like the Outer Worlds wasn't good, Avowed wasn't good. Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, I don't think was very good. Generally speaking.
Yeah, I think some people like that more than some of the other stuff that's come out since, but still not great.
Yeah, I just damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Let me see. What's that game I fucking linked you guys to? Strange Antiquities.
Was that's the one that was about the antiquity shop, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that one does sound interesting to me.
Yeah, as the name implies, you actually look at, care for, define what these antiquities that are Lovecraftian, eldritch things with weird powers, and also use it to solve the problems of the people around you.
Yeah, that does sound very interesting. It's not what I want, like a hunting thing, but
It's
you
adjacent.
know, it's adjacent, yeah.
I'm at least willing to look at it and be interested.
But yeah, back to the list because I never actually got very far on the list. Anime that I'm keeping an eye on this season so far. Of course, Apocalypse Hotel, like I said, and obviously we're watching To Be Hero X. But I've also got from Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman, and unfortunately, I think I have to recommend the manga over the anime, and not just because the manga has more time to do stuff, but also because, so far as I've heard, the anime is adapting the light novels and not the manga.
Mm.
And so there's a lot of uncomfortable changes to things that were much refined by the artist of the manga and made to be more like what the thing even promises. So the premise of this is that Beryl Gardent is a swords master, but he doesn't believe himself to be one, and he stays in his countryside dojo with his parents, teaching his students all the time. None of his students so far have ever gone on to do anything but become extremely famous and skilled. None of them. Not the male ones, not the female ones, no matter what their age. They've all become very good at their jobs, and their names have spread across the country and further. Right? Like, we've got top ranked adventurers, knight commanders, like people who have started their own dojos, shit like that. Like, all of his students are extremely skilled, and all of them want him to be recognized for his skill as well. And in the manga, and a lot of the anime, to be fair, I do have my complaints about the how the anime does it, but in most cases, the anime's fights are also still like very well choreographed. But it uses real European historical martial arts, how you would actually use the sword that Beryl uses, and twin swords in the case of I can't remember her name, Serena. There we go, which is one of his students, and so on and so forth. Like, it uses the real historical techniques that worked in duels, and it goes out of its way to talk about them and why they work, why they don't, and show you why they don't, and why they work when they work, and why you don't pirouette in the middle of a fight, for example.
Yeah.
Because like the first fight we actually see on screen is actually like Beryl fighting a knight that does a pirouette and like does exactly what I would have done. in a fight with a dude who pirouetted in the middle of a fight. I just step to the side and stab him in the fucking spine. You're turning your back on your opponent mid-fight. Don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
I know it looks cool. That doesn't matter. Looking cool doesn't keep you alive, okay? Fuck. Sorry, I have strong opinions about sword fighting, okay?
Yeah.
I was a sword fighter before my legs went to shit, alright? I can't remember a lot of, like, specifics, like, names and techniques and all that shit, but, like, if you show them to me, I'm like, yeah, I know that one. I know how to do that. Look, like, just like this. You want to move your shoulders like this, or whatever. It's... Ugh.
Ooh.
It
This
is
is
so
one I
easy to
don't
research.
know
It doesn't...
what book it's in. I'll have to look, but I did find it on the actual, like,
Oh, you sending me
resource.
more art? What's going on? You sending me more art or something?
Here we go. The Sentient, which are souls entrusted with carrying out missions for the gods. So not a
that's pretty
race
sick.
as such, but kinda. And that they
Okay,
are
so they're divine servants and they inhabit statues and stone figures.
Yeah.
Okay, so they don't like take over a corpse or anything. They just like, you know, hop into a golem body.
Essentially. Which, neat, honestly. So I don't know what
The maximum
book it's
lifespan
at.
cannot be confirmed by any reliable source. Yeah, because I figure like once they finish, they just get taken back to the godly realm, right? Like whatever they're there for, if the god doesn't need them anymore, they just go back to the heavens, I assume.
Oh man, okay, so this one just goes full barbarous on the look. Vulcans, which rather than giving loyalty to any god, they give it to the Genesis Sword of Freedom.
That's actually like I like the blurb about like why PCs don't have wings. The Vulcan PCs. It says this is because they are guilty. Guilty warriors are chosen to kill traitors of their clan. But since Vulcans have a rule against fighting amongst one's own people, the warriors who pursue them are also exiled. The wings of these guilty wanderers are clipped off as a sign of their iniquity.
Interesting.
So I assume you would have to like volunteer for this job, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so.
Interesting. Oh, there's actually a much smaller number of Vulcans are born without wings. These Vulcans cannot survive in barbarous society and often flee to live with humanoids. Fair enough.
Yeah, alright. Let's see.
Anyhow, like basically, from Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman is really good, but I have to recommend the manga over the anime. The anime would be a good primer to know what you're getting into, but just maybe actually, yeah, maybe you should watch the anime first and then go read the manga afterwards, because if you read the manga first like I did, the lack of sword techniques and shows of strength of not just Beryl but all the other characters as well will bother you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the characters are shown to be much more competent in the manga, and all of that is just cut from the anime. And I honestly kind of fucking hate it.
Yeah, that is deeply unfortunate.
Like there's some relatively rookie, but like they've been at it for a while, but they're still like low ranked adventurers in episode 3 of the anime, and it just cuts out like it's at least like 10 different conversations they have in the manga, and also makes them look like fucking idiots. But like the manga shows them to have quick reactions, clever tactics, and they know what they're doing. They work well together. So like all they really needed was just like some extra pointers on how to use their weapons, you know. And like, you know, probably like an escort because there's pretty dangerous shit out there, and they're doing a promotion exam, so that kind of thing. It's like the manga went out of its way to say that these kids are young and inexperienced, but they are still skilled and worth like they have this job for a reason. they're not idiots. They're not fools. Like they may only be like 17 or 18 years old, but they are still like competent. They're plenty capable on their own. They just don't have the experience of Serena or Beryl. But before I go too much onto that, there's also Lazarus, which is made by the same dude who did Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
So if you know anything about anime, that is enough for you.
Yeah, which Cowboy Bebop it is more Cowboy Bebop than it is Space Dandy. If you know the creators work.
much more Cowboy Bebop than Space Dandy. It's still goofy in some places, but not nearly. Actually, I think it's even less goofy than Cowboy Bebop is. Honestly,
yeah, I could see
like,
that.
There's some jokes, but like mostly like the characters are. Well, it's not Spike eating a fucking cigarette because someone pointed out the no smoking sign. There's nothing like that.
Yeah, it sounds more down to earth. Basic idea from even the synopsis is scientist makes wonderful drug that makes people super young. He shows up 3 years later. I think it's 3 years later, and just straight up.
Yes, it's 3 years later, but it's not youth. It's a non-addictive painkiller.
Oh, non-addictive painkiller.
So yes, it's a non-addictive painkiller that works against pain at the same level as an opioid. So you know how popular that would be immediately.
Seems
like as soon as that came out and passed clinical trials, people would be on that shit.
Appears to have no consequences, but then he comes up 3 years later and says, "Oh yeah, this has a half-life of like." Also 3 years.
It's 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he timed it specifically for that. So people would start dying within the month of his announcement.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, you're just going to fucking die. And so these 4...
Anyone who took Hapna is going to die.
Yeah. And so this group of mostly criminal fucks, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like Cowboy Bebop, but Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
All right? Like, there's no superpowers or magic or anything. But that's essentially what's going on.
Yeah, they're like
it's a bunch of criminal assholes who have enormous sentences hanging over their heads that are being forced into this.
Yeah, and their task: find the doctor, try and get as much information as you can to then we can create a vaccine.
Yeah, in his announcement, the doctor does say that he has the antidote on him and he'll give it to anyone who finds him, but you don't actually know if that's the truth.
Yeah. Which, yeah, we're not going to know that's the truth until the end of the series, more likely.
Yep.
So, I mean, it would kind of make sense that he took the medicine in front of people to try and sell its efficacy, but hey, maybe he didn't. Maybe he made sure he got himself,
He probably would have already taken the antidote.
Yeah. Well,
like at least he'd have the opportunity to.
Oh, yeah, he would have the opportunity to. I'm just saying, I don't know if he would present that, or if he would, if he's lying and just, like, had a saline solution if it's injection or what have you. I don't know what form the drug takes.
Like, there's no spoilers in what I'm about to say, but I think it should paint the picture of what the show is like fairly well. I think some of the members of Lazarus have already seen him in person.
Ooh.
On screen.
Ooh.
I think. So just pay attention to characters that come up, please. And I hope I'm right about that, because that would be a really good like showcase moment of like him being like everywhere the Lazarus people look, but they just never notice him or recognize him. And then later on when they actually do find him, he's just like, "Hey, you walked by me like 6 times."
Yeah. And they're like,
I think that would be great.
Like, I'm sure that at least in some of those instances, he took a fucking photo just so he could. He seemed like that kind of guy.
Oh, I'm not going to say this out loud, but
excellent.
It's good. Like I can't tell you why I think they don't recognize the character, because that would point out who it is in the episode. But
fair enough.
At least who I think I'm not actually sure about it, of course, because like there's only 3 episodes out. I haven't gotten that far. There's no source material. I can't read ahead. This is just like my theory of what that one specific scene had in it,
Yeah,
and
just what
maybe some
that scene
others.
meant. Also,
Like it's really good.
very attentive to issues of the day, very trans
Yes,
friendly.
very, very. Like it actually it surprised me with how friendly to oppressed peoples it is. Just in general, it's very conscious of what people like us go through, and people like Doug, which is one of the characters.
Yeah, which Doug is a African man. I
I,
don't
I,
know exactly
I
where.
think he's African American.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say African American just because I don't know his country of origin.
Let's see. Where is Doug? Douglas, come here. Come here, buddy. Do we know where you're from? He's a physicist,
Yeah.
but we don't know where he's from.
Oh,
Actually, he's from
Nigeria.
Nigeria. Yeah,
Okay, so he's from Nigeria, but
but I don't know where he went to school at either, because
yeah,
like you would assume in Nigeria, at least he wouldn't have faced the discrimination he did.
yeah, makes sense. But yeah, Doug is a student of physics
Or
and
it was at least.
or, you know,
I don't know if he actually graduated or not. Oh,
he
his backstory hasn't been like gone into full detail yet, so we'll
yeah,
see.
and he's in charge of the team's operations.
Yeah, he's like basically, well, I mean, sort of, kind of. He's the one who is most willing to work with the woman who put the group together, but he's also got the same suicide bracelet on everyone else does.
Fair enough.
So I'm pretty sure he's also a criminal. We just don't know what he did.
Yeah, we just don't know what he did, but he's a very composed person. Uh,
Yeah, and I like him a lot. He's got a giant fuck off sci-fi revolver, uselessly like high tech revolver. I love it. I love that shit so much.
yeah, that shit is always cool.
Uh, but after that is Uma Musume. I'm actually watching Cinderella Grey, and I'm enjoying it. Our main character is a kudera fucking sports nut.
Yeah, a kudere, but also wholesome and a dumbass.
Yes, she's got the big dumb shonen energy, as Jeff says.
Yeah.
I like her a lot. She was born disabled, as so anyone who knows anything about the Uma Musume setting knows that like all the horse girls are named after actual racehorses or workhorses or war horses or what have you that existed in real life. And this one is Oguri Cap, which anyone who knows anything about fucking horses or racehorses at least knows that Oguri Cap was born disabled, and that's true of this version of that horse as well. The main character was born disabled, but her mother somehow managed to like help her exercise to the point where like she went through physical therapy essentially from her mother. And now she runs. She was asked why she runs, and she just says, because I can.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
can run
can
now. Yeah, so I'm gonna fucking
So of
do
course
it.
I'm going to. Yeah. And like I agree with that heavily. Like that speaks to me as someone who can't run anymore.
Yeah,
Like if I ever recover, you can be guaranteed you people will see far less of me on streams. I will be out like climbing mountains and shit.
yeah, and like she's fucking dirt poor, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Because
She's so poor she literally doesn't even have a school uniform when she goes to the sports academy.
yeah, and also
She has a like a gym outfit instead.
yeah, and she's so fucking amazed her own private room has electricity.
Yeah. It has electricity and no leaks and blankets.
Also,
She's like that kind of poor,
yeah, and she
which
knows
is
her,
even more poor than I was.
yeah, and she knows
Or,
her
and
mom
am, I
is
guess.
listening via radio to her brace, so she makes sure to time putting the
Yeah,
accessory on.
that was fucking adorable. I think that was in episode 2.
Yeah, and it's just so goddamn adorable. Like if any of this has charmed your heart, watch it.
Yeah, her mother sends her a letter because they don't have phones, of course, because they're too poor. And she's like, I'll be listening to your race on the radio, because they don't have a TV. So uh her mother also sent her old hair accessory that she wore during her races in the mail with the letter, is what's going on. So Oguri Cap walks out onto the track, and as the announcer is talking about her and saying, "And Oguri Cap is number 5 in the picket line," or whatever the fuck, she holds up her fucking hair accessory really high in the air, and the sports announcer is just like, and she's holding something, a hair accessory in the air, and then she just puts it on. So her mother knows for sure that she's wearing the accessory,
Which
which
is
I
so
think is just
cute.
phenomenally adorable.
Yeah, that's super adorable. Just making sure I've got it. I appreciate you. Thank you, Mom.
Yeah, which is it's great, and like it's more of a sports thing than
Yes.
it is, anime girls. Like, yes, they're literally anime girls, but
It is sports
it's more
anime,
about
not
sports.
idol anime, which is what a lot of the
Yes,
Uma Musume is.
which like they do the singing thing, but honestly, I just kind of skip past it. I don't care about that. I want to see Oguri Cap run. I want to see her run and kick up so much fucking dirt that like the people cleaning the tracks later look at her footprints and go, "Are we sure that was made by a person and not a monster?"
Oh, also, the cafeteria was all you can eat until they
Oh
encountered
yeah,
her.
it's still all you can eat, but they deny her seconds because she just piles her plate up so high. It's lovely.
It is
Like, and
very
a character
lovely.
design thing that I really liked was that the running shoes that these horse girls use are riding boots with horseshoes on the front, where we would have our toes. I,
Excellent.
I think that's just
Yeah,
fucking
which you
amazing.
you had shown me that, and that was so good.
Um, and the last one that I've actually got an update here for, so I'm gonna watch it while I'm eating the ham for dinner later after we're done here. But the Too Perfect Saint, tossed aside by my fiance and sold to another kingdom. It's and like it's half fluffy romance of this abused girl getting all the love and like care that she should have gotten in her home kingdom by her family and everything, and half revenge political thriller.
Yeah, like it seems like
Like
her little sister is going to destroy, as she should.
her little sister is going to destroy so much. Oh man, I could tell just by like looking at her face in that final scene of this most recent episode that I watched. Oh no.
Which, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely valid.
So people know who people who watch this kind of thing know that oftentimes these siblings are also horrendously awful people to the main character, but in this case, that's not actually what's going on. The sister is actually extremely respectful and like she loves her older sister a lot. She thinks that her older sister is like the ideal saint, and like everyone should like try to be like her. Uh, but Philia is the main character. That's her side is the light, fluffy, like recovery from all this trauma bullshit. And then Mia's side, that's the little sister. Her side is the one where she's gonna fucking wreck shop after she finds out what the prince did to Philia by
Yep.
selling her off to another nation like that. It's it's so good. I can't talk too much about it because like it's big fucking spoilers, but ugh, like this is the kind of character that will nurse a grudge for 15 to 20 years, waiting for the perfect moment to pull it off and absolutely collapse an entire goddamn government. So
Excellent.
I'm so eager. Come on, Mia, fucking get him. Shit. I'm ready. I'm so ready for this.
Very clearly.
The other two that I'm currently watching, but I'm not paying too much attention to them, but I am vaguely interested, and I will sit down and watch the episodes that I haven't caught up on, are the Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows, and Sword of the Demon Hunter. And hold on a second, let me open Sword of the Demon Hunter so I can tell you the subtitle. Kijin Gintosho. So the Brilliant Healer's Life in the Shadows is about a young physician who is a healing mage, but he's also like a physician. Like he does perform surgery. It's not just like I cast healing spell and therefore you are completely healed. He does like open people up and remove tumors and shit. Um, but getting out, he doesn't have a license from the government to practice, so he runs an underground clinic. Blah, blah. He got a lot of practice in the field as a as an adventurer healer, but he eventually quit that because his party was kind of assholes. We know that trope already, but I don't think the party is really going to come back much, and if they do, it's not going to be very fucking long. Guarantee you that. Um, Mostly, it's about him like making a life in the underground, like the criminal underground, and it actually gets a lot right about the criminal underground. Unlike most fantasy where they just ignore like how that shit actually works, it does seem to actually pay attention to what the rules of the underground are, which are essentially like if you can't be trusted, you're not going to get work
Yeah,
ever
absolutely.
because
That's the thing is,
no one's gonna trust you to watch their shit if you're known to steal people's shit.
yeah, exactly. Like the thing of it is, like we think of criminals as well, I say we, but criminals are
We in the
portrayed.
general sense.
Yeah, criminals are portrayed in society as entirely untrustworthy individuals. But the thing is, if they're part of criminal enterprise, they're going to involve themselves in things they need to be trusted on. They're just doing something that isn't legal.
Yeah, like they don't need to be liked or be trusted for like with personal secrets or anything like that. They just need to be like it's not like the rest of life where like you would only consider like working alongside someone for something dangerous if you knew you could like really trust them properly. In the criminal underground, it's more like as long as I know this motherfucker isn't going to shit me in the spine and steal my wallet, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those, yeah, you can get away with backstabbing once. Once.
Once, literally once. And if you're going to do it, you better fucking do it in a way that's going to make sure you can live well because you're not going to get any more work ever again.
Yeah, because they're going to know, oh, I'm going to get fucked over by you. No, I'm not working with you.
Yeah, and like you could say it's like, but what if you clean up all the witnesses? No one will ever know. It's, yeah, but the criminal underground doesn't work on fucking trials. It doesn't work on evidence. If you come back from a job and all your teammates didn't, they're gonna blame you.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to blame you at best. At
Even if
best.
they can't justify like killing your ass in a dark alleyway, they're definitely not gonna work with you anymore.
Yeah, not in a intense situation like the one that your teammates died in, at the very least.
Yes, at least that. But like the brilliant healer's life actually does like pay attention to that shit and other political matters as well. I think I remember talking to you about it for the first episode where like it does pay attention to political stuff,
Yeah,
like not
absolutely.
just the criminal underground, but actual like normal politics.
Yeah, because they're like, why? They look into why are people in the lower rungs of society not fighting with each other?
Yeah, like this is abnormal. They send an investigator.
And they're just fucking playing cards because they're content.
Yeah, they're not. They're essentially one. All of the three major gangs get like mushed into one gang because of like the actions of this healer. Because this healer's like, yeah, you guys can fight. I'll keep healing you, but I'm gonna charge you for it all.
Which,
So they're
honestly,
like,
pretty good.
ah, probably shouldn't fight too much then, because this guy charges a lot.
Yeah, because the guy does charge, a lot. He probably he gets instances where he's like, yeah, this is a sick kid or whatever. But generally speaking, if you're getting into a fight that you didn't have to
Yeah,
get
actually,
into,
one of the main cast is actually a small child that he rescued from an abuser, from a slave master, I think.
oh,
Uh,
very nice.
he bought her from the guy after kicking his shit in. As he was like, "All right, here, go away. Take this money, go away, fuck off." And essentially freed her and says, "Like, okay, do you want to like come work for me?"
Yeah, you want to be an assistant? Because, hey, I make good money, you can make good money.
He did save her from like like death's door. There we go. That's the word. That's the phrase. But he doesn't expect her to pay him back specifically for the most part because she's a child.
Child, yeah. Like, she didn't get
But
into
like
that situation.
when he, for example, saves the or heals the leader of one of the gangs, he's like, yeah, you're paying me a lot of fucking gold for this.
Which, fair.
Which, like, that's a grown woman right there. Yeah, you can pay. You have a job, kind of.
A job as such.
Yes, kind of, sort of.
You
You have a
make
way to
money.
pay me.
You get money. You can give me some of that money.
Exactly, yeah. Which I've really liked. And
And if you stiff me on payment, well, hope you never get hurt again, kind of thing.
yeah, exactly. Although because of his adventurer experience, he's no slouch in a fight either. He can absolutely fuck someone up.
Oh yeah, absolutely, I'm sure. It's just one of those. Yeah, sure. Like, I don't even need to hurt you. Just don't get hurt again, or you're getting nothing.
Yeah. And the other one that I was talking about earlier, sort of the Demon Hunter. I'm pretty sure I read the manga for this actually, but I can't find it anywhere in my bookmarks. So like the site must have gone down or something like that. But anyway, sort of the Demon Hunter Kijin Gintosho. It's about a half demon man named Jinta who is a like a samurai, sort of kind of. They call it a sentinel in story because he's not actually a samurai. He's not part of the samurai class, but he
Gotcha.
does use a katana, and it is in Japan, like actual Japan, not fantasy Japan. Um, and he's supposed to be the guardian of the shrine maiden of the village. Um, and this is mostly just from the blurb, by the way, no spoilers here. He encounters a mysterious demon who speaks of the far future in the forest where he went to defeat it. And this story spans 170 years from the Edo period to the modern day, and his story of like hunting down a demon queen that he helped create.
Very nice.
Yeah, I stole some of that from Jeff because like I think that demon queen that he helped create is very important to the hook, but it doesn't say that
In
in the
the
blurb.
actual
It just talks
synopsis.
about like how he's traveling through time while continuously questioning the meaning of using a sword in the first place. And that's it.
Yeah, no,
It
you
doesn't mention the demon
definitely.
queen at all.
Yeah, you definitely need that extra aspect of Demon Queen.
Yeah, like I can't say much more about the situation, otherwise it'll spoil the whole fucking plot of the at least the it's one of those fucking artsy ass fucking Oshinoko things where it's got it's got a full ass near damn feature length movie for the first episode. So it's one of those, it's gonna be like animated phenomenally well throughout the entire thing, probably very well written at the same time. The only reason I didn't like Oshinoko is because of some spoilers I got on the romance, which
Yeah.
gave me the heebie-jeebies. So everything else was
Unfortunately.
fucking fantastic about it. But like, I don't care that their souls are two different people that aren't related at all. They're still twins. That's gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're into that, fine. Like, it's not illegal or morally wrong or anything. It's just kind of gross. It's just weird and gross. Okay, that's all.
Especially because they
I
do
don't like that kind
kind
of
of
thing.
act like siblings.
Yeah, that's the thing is they actually do act like siblings for a lot of the time. It's just stop, please.
Because it'd be
Fuck.
one thing if they basically were like, nah, you were my coworker. But no, that's not how they act.
It's not even that. He was the other.
Yeah,
The
no,
male twin was the female twin's doctor,
Yep.
which makes it even weirder.
Yeah, well, was her doctor, but then she was his assistant after.
No, no, she died and he died at the same night.
No. When he was a doctor and died, it was because he was well, their future mom's doctor.
I don't remember, but I know that they died within a couple of years of each other. I think, if not the same night.
Yeah, no, because Aqua was literally, or not Aqua. My brain do that. I don't know. I think it's because of Aqua. From
Konosuba?
yeah, like Konosuba and stuff. Like Ruby.
See, whenever I hear the name Aqua, all I can think of is this one fucked up weird uh Otome isekai where one of the main characters' names was Aquasteed. It's real bad.
Yeah.
All of the characters are named like that. It, don't I don't remember the name of it. Don't look it up. It's awful. It's a train wreck.
Yeah.
But anyhow, it's fucking whatever. Oshinoko is that. It's been so long since I damn watched it anyway that I can't remember any details. All I know is that like the twins get together in the romance, and I don't like that. It's gross. Shut up, cat. Don't leave me like that. But
Oh no,
I
I was
think
wrong. I don't know why my brain made me think that she was actually working under him
no,
after.
yeah,
Must be thinking of somebody else.
probably. There's a few of them that are like that because for some reason people really like twins kissing. I don't know why. No shade to you, as long as you don't try to make twins in real life do it if they don't want to.
Yeah, seriously, like don't do that, because no.
But yeah, Sword of the Demon Hunter is good. I don't think it uses real sword techniques, but I wouldn't really be able to recognize most of them anyway, even if they did, because like I don't know Japanese martial arts. I'd be able to. I can recognize a couple styles, but there's a lot of Japanese martial styles, so I would not be able to recognize most of them. It's I think sort of the Demon Hunter will be more interesting for the psychological aspect rather than the action. Because like this man has to live for 170 more years before the Demon Queen will show herself again. And he has to live with that. Just think about that all the time. Just think about like all the suffering that he's going to have been responsible for over the next, century and a half. I think that's going to be the most important part about it, or at least it was to me when I was reading the manga. Have you got any that you're watching that weren't on that list?
Nope. Mostly just Mercy Lago, like we were talking about.
Yeah, that's fair. There was another Korean one that I was keeping an eye on, but I don't remember what the fuck it's called now, and it'll be difficult to find it because the last update, like it did a season break,
Yeah.
that like comics do. It did a season break like 90 days ago or something like that, so I'd have to scroll for quite a while in my updates list.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to call it then. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Whether you are on YouTube or Twitch, look at the description. On YouTube, it will lead you both to my and Cat's Twitch. I can speak.
Also, I'm sorry for like going on the very loud rants. Some of you might have been sleeping. Sorry about that. I got very loud during some of them sword rants. Sorry.
But yes, thank you very much for joining us. You can see my socials in my Twitch description, or rather the About section, same difference. And in Cats, which about section, you will find the links that they are about to tell you about.
It leads to my Twitter, my Discord, and my Kara. I don't really use my Twitter anymore, but you can follow me there if you like. I don't mind. You're just not gonna get any updates. But join the Discord. Look at the pretty pictures I draw on Kara.
Yes, indeed.
I would love to have more to put up, but like my tablet's been out of commission for a couple of months now, and I don't know when it's getting back into commission. But eventually, one day,
One day.
maybe when Twitch finally gives me my fucking money.
Yes, indeed.
God damn you, Twitch! Give me my fucking money.
And on that note, we say goodnight.
Night, everyone.